What's up, guys?
Prepare for the raid.
Oh shit! Are they sending us over?
I think we're familiar with all the people that are about to raid us.
Come on, host us, Hexo. There he goes.
Hopefully you got everything you wanted in the adoption standpoint. Hopefully you have a great rest of your evening, guys. Take care and watch Cabana Crypto. It should be a good episode, guys. LOL at the guy that predicted Hexo's outro.
All right.
All right. So
Cabana, did we get a first name?
What's
do we get a first name to use? Because like Cabana all the time.
Always Cabana.
We got Randy, we got Nat, we got John.
How about Carlos? That'll work.
What's up, Carlos?
let me pick a random one out of the hat. That's all good.
All right. So we got Coffee, KNTX, Randy. Good to see you, man. Thanks for coming. Oh, we got the.
let me pick a random one out of the hat. That's all good. And Gary. See?
All right. Cool. Let me see here. Let me just mess with this audio on my end because it's a little.
It sounds good.
Okay.
We got
like a little feedback there or something.
Program and other apps. So.
Well, cool. Yeah, for everybody out there, welcome. Wanted to get this panel together and just to tell you how awesome this community is. Everybody I asked said yes. We only had 2 work conflicts. That's why they're not here. Yeah, of course, a baby conflict. I think Hexo is on a tight schedule until that arrives.
Yeah, right.
It's got a little
bit. So yeah, we got we're like more than 2/3 of the way through. Just wanted to kind of get like a round table together on all topics Hex. With everybody watching, I think we're across 3 channels. So we got YouTube main, we're backed up on Dlive and Twitch as well, I think. I haven't even gone to Twitch yet. But let me get back to the main. So just wanted to start off, I guess like the best way to start is kind of like where we're at. And maybe I'll start with Funding Jim. We're winding down, say the last 4 months. Do you think we've kind of hit like peak free claim? Kind of maybe, if we get to the last month, there could be like a FOMO phase of, all the guys that secretly, kind of want some Hex and don't want to claim, but don't want to talk about it. Or are we kind of maxed out here under like 3%?
So in my opinion, as this has been falling down on a BTC claim, the dollar value of what they could claim becomes less and less relevant. Early on, the idea, in my opinion, about the BTC inclusion and the free claim element was that these people that are considered, whales, or they have BTC in their wallet, would have to watch the climb and they would have to see the 100x. And if they've seen the 100x, that entices them, of course, because they had this locking period to maybe get involved later on, more recently. In my opinion, in this last 4-month countdown, we may see another push. We may see several mini pushes, but also a lot of people are anticipating, whether it's right or wrong, turbulence around big payday. So does a BTC person claim? Sure, they should. We should definitely, I think, promote it. That's why every Twitter response or every retweet or whatever, I'm including this hashtag BTC Bros kind of thing. And it is basically, again, to keep just like banners on a double wide in England. I mean, it's eyes. These are just eyes, right? No longer is it the new kid on the block. It's been around 8 months now. It's been launched 8 months. It's been talked about for 2 years. So there's a lot of momentum about Hex specifically. And I think it's still worthwhile, but it's mostly so that they have this FOMO period over the next year. Whenever they do claim, even if it's at the last minute, they will watch that tiny claim maybe for the next year before it unlocks. But we're really trying to encourage people to to have a reason to check. It's just like a blockfolio. You may have a blockfolio and you just check it on something you have a tiny little bag of, but you start to see that change. You notice those green percentage points instead of red ones across the field on everything else. So it ends up people, start chiming into the things that are green. So I think it's worthwhile still to promote the BTC claim.
Nice. Randy, I haven't had pleasure really of being on stream with you yet. Everybody else, yes. But you run in some crypto circles. Do you have any feeling for this free claim phase? Is it kind of what you expected, lesser than you expected, or kind of in line?
No, because I've been very disappointed with it, with our community too. I have a lot of friends that are whales, and the biggest hurdle. I mean, I'll name them. I'll come here right. Jeff Berwick. I mean, I had a great conversation with Jeff about it, and he's like, "Oh, I'll get back to you," and I know exactly what he did. He went to
Google, right?
No, yeah,
he went to Raphael, I bet.
Raphael, yeah. I was gonna say Raphael, and Raphael hates Hex. He's the head of one of the head writers of Crypto Vigilante, and he tells me not to post it. Even though I'm on the team, I still post stuff. I'm like, what are you guys gonna do? Fire me? They're not gonna fire me. So I continue to talk about it, but I've reached out to a couple of my other friends, and they're like, "Oh, I'm so worried about claiming the Bitcoin. What's going to happen? Can they see my wallet and all that?" I'm like, "Look, I send them the articles that state, look, you're just signing a signature. You're not doing anything besides that." But they're not very tech savvy. The other people that I wrote about, sent them the information to, and they just don't get it, man. I'm really struggling. I've had a whole bunch of people use my referral code, but I've only had 3 claims. 3 claims, and it's very disappointing. I thought it was going to be much more than that.
So who is this Raphael guy, and why does he hate? What's the source of his hatred?
Well, he's very well known in the vigilante circles, and the anarchist capitalist community, and he's big in Monero and coins like that. And that was my post the other day in the Dollar Vigilante group. I said, "Look, guys, we got ZK Snarks now. Come on. I don't know what you guys are talking about. That this is going to be, Richard's going to make off with all this money. There's too many things coming for Hex to consider this just another pump and dump. And like we bet 2016, 17, what we all experienced. I just don't see that happening here."
So it's just that fresh in their head. Everyone's just burned so bad from 2017, and they've seen all the scams. And that's the one kind of marketing thing that I just don't think crypto people are going to understand, because they've been wrecked so hard,
Hey, we all were.
Yeah, I have too. Me too. I'm not above that, but yeah, it's tough for sure.
Moses, welcome.
Hey, what's up?
Hey, man. I just posted a question on the screen, what we kind of started with here.
Okay.
Just your thoughts on free claims. I was kind of asking Randy there. Are they, I think below total like 3% right now. Is it kind of like below your expectations, in line, or how do you feel about it?
To tell you the truth, I think the Bitcoin free claims aren't going to really pile in until the last 30 days.
Really?
Yeah. It's just going to be FOMO. It's just, but most of it's going to be gone. But it's sort of like, it's not a loss leader, but it's like, they find out like, oh shoot, I would have had all that extra Hex, and then they just start market buying. Even if you got in on the first day, right? I still market bought just because I was like, that's not enough Hex for me, right? Mm-hmm. So it's like it gives you a free taste, like sort of like a drug dealer. Like here, first one's free, and then you come back for more if you want some from the AA or Uniswap.
Yeah, totally. That's totally what happened with me. I was gonna eventually, I think, buy Hex.
Right.
The more I just dove into it. I was like, okay, I feel really comfortable about this. And then the free claim, and it's like, oh man, you're getting a great rate those first 2 months, and then you see like 7 digits of Hex for an ETH, and you're like, okay, man, I'm in, and it just kind of fed on itself for me, and fortunately, that's pretty much when I all in there.
We have like 11. It's really interesting about the when people talk about this dumping, this fear of running away, kind of, again, every new project that released since 2017, I looked at with extra scrutiny. And, HEX really hasn't had that dump. It had the day one. And then after the day one, it climbed after the shock of a day one FOMO.
Mm-hmm.
But it climbed. And, maybe we've had a 40% retrace or something along those lines from the 0.6 down to like the mid threes or something. But there's no other example really. And if there was opportunity for this to play out differently in a negative light and all these, and Richard to go into a cave someplace, with no internet, it would have happened already. I just don't see it. I don't think the fear of Richard is the issue. I think it's really the time to promote the immutable factors of HEX primarily, treating it as a metal, just a tangible thing more than I'm treating it as a code or something that can be changed. Maybe there's still vetting to be done, but and it's funny, all these BTC claim people, they tell a miner every time they move anything what their address is. I have no idea why they're so afraid about their address being linked or tied to them and VPN and their identity, when it's very clear if you just look in 3 minutes that that's not how a HEX claim occurs. The person that's been advocating operational security for 5 or 6 years, at least publicly, is Richard, and all this stuff can be vetted very easily.
I feel like the whole thing with OPSEC is everyone's so concerned about it and they pretend to be concerned about it, but if somebody wants to find out who you are, they're going to do it no matter what. And so I just kind of cut my losses with the whole OPSEC thing at one point. I'm like, I've been sitting on the sidelines for 3 years. Who cares? I'll give out my public address and, good luck finding my private ones. But if you really want to look hard enough, don't do that. Actually, don't look. But
it's like asking that in 4chan. Like, dude, don't stop.
Yeah.
Well, the funny thing is, when it really becomes realized as a fiat or whatever it is, it depends on where you are in life. If you're 25 and you don't have a lot of assets comparable to crypto, then fine, it's going to be a massive windfall. You're going to have a lifestyle change and things like that. But for people that are actually looking at this as a long-term 15-year CD kind of product, they often have real estate. They often have operational fiat-based businesses. They often, this is adding to their holdings. And for those people, they look at it, they should look at it differently, at least I do. And so operational security is fine, but I want this to be realized eventually as dollars or yen or whatever it's going to be that buys houses and shit, right? The things that are cash flowing. So you're going to have to show where that came from anyway. So a lot of this idea about OPSEC and, I don't want anybody to know that I'm holding BTC. They're in the same situation as a lot of my Vietnamese friends that have, well over 1,000 BTC each. And they say they just can't exit out of BTC. They don't have any place to exit out because who knows where it came from, right? I see this as a fresh slate kind of opportunity.
They can't LTC sell?
They have issues. They always have issues when it goes into dollar. But, they can do all kinds of things to basically convert it into HEX. And then it's a new slate for them.
Can't you just kind of sell when you need to and report the losses or report the gains manually?
We can do a lot of things, but it depends on how, again, if we have problems with people being savvy enough in BTC already to claim a free bit of money, it's a weird thing.
Yeah, the difference here, guys, is like 2017 was glorious for us. We had enough money to live for 2 years. My son was born, and it was an amazing time. But then at the end of 2018, it just really crashed. Yeah. And that remainder of the crypto that we had just got obliterated. And in 2018, everything started creeping back up, thankfully. But I see here the chance where I don't have to sell my main holdings. With HEX, I can just sell off my interest. And I've never had that chance before with any other crypto. When I had Bitcoin or Ethereum, whatever, when you have to sell a whole one or something. Here, I don't have to do that. And that to me, that's a life changer.
I feel like
we haven't even entered another bull run yet, but I'm still, really hesitant to move my Bitcoin at all. It was hard for me to sell Bitcoin for HEX, even though I was all in on HEX. But something about pulling that sell button on something that you've held for so long is kind of difficult, just psychologically. So if you have interest and there's going to be inflation every year, it makes it much easier. But I was going to say too that the Bitcoin free claims, it's a very powerful adoption metric. Every Bitcoin free claim that happens, it's somebody that was a Bitcoin believer that has literally converted over to HEX. And I guess most of them sell, or that's what I've heard from Silver the Antidote. A lot of the small Bitcoin free claimers sell, but a lot of the bigger ones I think have held. I got to do some chain analysis on that because I'm not too certain on that. But it's a more powerful metric of adoption because these are people that are hardcore crypto people that probably have a lot more economic energy to convert into HEX too. So it's an important number to watch.
So
Unfortunately,
here comes the solve, guys. Here comes the solve.
What's up?
I think we highly overestimated the intelligence of the average crypto trader. Just because someone has money does not mean that they're smart. It means that they made a right move.
That's
so,
right.
you know, when we're dependent on the crypto space who has their belief system, this is a very cultish sort of thing. And I don't think that has anything to do with their intelligence or their ability to make smart decisions. They just happen to make one, you know? Yeah. And a lot of people who thought they were making smart decisions got destroyed because they were trying to get onto that next thing. So we have all that working against us in the crypto space. Now, what I find humorous about it is guys, I go to trade shows all the time with big celebrities, you know, names of people that are actually in movies and stuff. And I see them every year. And, you know what a real celebrity is. And the crypto space seems to think, you know, this person that has a camera is a celebrity. So they listen to this person, right? So, you know, you've got all these people parroting and creating this buzz and everybody just doing this thing, right? And that's not even celebrityship. So the real move for HEX is going to totally come from outside the space because the community doesn't realize how tiny they actually are in perspective. You know, even Richard, he's got 50,000 followers on Twitter, and we're like, wow, that's a lot. No, it's not in the real world. It's only in the crypto space, you see? Yeah. And people in the crypto space are so full of their own personal significance that they can't accept a different reality other than their own. So I think it's like a lost cause to expect these people to, I mean, the arguments that we get, it's like it could be made over any coin, any coin. It's like, well, where's the value come from? Yeah. Do you understand what crypto is? You know, it's so frustrating.
I mean, you remember back in the day,
it's like they reveal that they really don't know anything about crypto.
Yeah, you had all kinds of celebrities promoting whatever shitcoin of the day it was. I think Mike Tyson promoted a big one, that big pump and dump. I think 50 Cent, or was it Snoop Dogg or someone else that promoted a different one?
Akon, baby.
Maybe Akon.
Akon.
Yo, he's going to the city though,
Mayweather.
Yeah, Mayweather.
Too.
Somebody gave
Kruger effect, you know?
free Bitcoin.
Look at the Doge pump just recently from Randy
Elon Musk.
Yeah,
I leave my Doge alone. Pump Doge, right?
Yeah.
He
did.
We're looking at, and we're looking at such a small, insignificant amount of money coming in. And when we talk about mass adoption, it's not like this, you know, last bull run that we had. Mass adoption dwarfs that. You know, if it actually were to occur, we wouldn't know what the hell to do with ourselves because we've never seen anything of that magnitude. Getting crypto out into the real world so people can understand it, you know, is what's going to matter. You know, this real world adoption is what's going to matter. I think we're beating a dead horse trying to get these people in the crypto space to open their eyes because I don't really think they have the capacity, to be honest. I don't. I get tired of being on Twitter and arguing with idiots. You know, it's draining.
It feels a bit.
It's draining.
It feels a bit incestuous, actually, talking to crypto people that are not already in HEX. So when I say that is we are kind of feeding from others or cannibalizing from others or the losses of others, and they already feel hurt and they already feel cynicism or whatever. But most of the world operates in a fiat mechanism. Most of the world pays their rent, pays their utilities, pays for their car, pays for their food, pays for everything in dollar. And I'm focused more on dollar onboarding. So dollar conversion into HEX, dollar conversion into crypto, because that's majority of celebrity, majority of YouTube, majority of anything that's you can get your message out at a very low cost is not so much speaking to crypto people. I'm really not focusing right now or for the next years, really, on existing crypto populations and cannibalizing them.
Yeah, the only people that I know for sure that I've gotten into HEX have been people in real life, which are definitely not crypto people.
Yeah.
Definitely
those are the best people to go after, though.
Yeah.
Well, I don't think I've onboarded a single crypto user. They've all been people in the real world that I know who and didn't have a bad experience from 2017. And they're seeing the gains that happened not only from 2017, but also the recent gains.
Yep.
And that's piquing their interest. And I'm saying, hey, I happen to know of a product, not a project, that's finished and ready to go. Yep. And so it's really helpful when you can actually show them all the resources. And what's actually worked well for me, and I reached out to a couple of people in the community to make sure I was quoting the right names, but the audits make a big difference. Especially, actually, the audits made a bigger difference for some of the masternode coin Discord channels I was in, and I think a lot of those guys have secretly moved over because they stopped asking me about it after I gave them my referral link, and I saw a few small referrals come in. So I think if you're going to go after crypto people, the masternode community might be the way to go. But for the most part, my experience and my success has all been with no coiners.
Yeah. So I wanted to say something about that. Yesterday, I did tweet something or send something. I think it was in Telegram. So I had a dentist appointment yesterday, and it was most of the day. I've been away from the island, and I have a dentist for the past 10 years. And so we do know each other. It's not just it's a totally cold contact. And in that contact, the day before, I had said, they knew that I was doing something with crypto in 2016, 17. But I'd said, hey, I'm into something really big now. Something that's really I like a lot. I'm going to tell you about it when I see you. And I came a little bit earlier. And again, we're medical professionals, so we could probably talk a little bit more liberally. But I'd said, normally for professional discount or for we know you discount or cash discount, my bill would have been $5,200, I think. They did a lot of shit on me yesterday. It's like 6 hours of work. But for the discount, if I'd paid cash and as a professional, would have been $3,100. So $3,100 was my bill. I had to come up with in cash. So I offered $3,600 in HEX. So I gave her a little bit more HEX, right? I said, this is above market rate. I took about 20 minutes to show her how to convert it into on HEX Dex, turn it into USDC. She already knew what Coinbase was, but I said, you can convert it into USDC and move it right now. I'm going to pay you right now, and I transferred it from my wallet. So I paid her in HEX, and then she felt like she got a deal. She got above what her market rate was. I said, when I leave this office, whatever happens in USDC is up to you. Whatever happens in HEX is up to you. But I'm just telling you, this is how it works. And I paid her, and our bills are settled. Now I have the dollars that I would have paid my dentist. And what did I do? I replenished and bought my HEX. I bought it at 20%. So I gave myself a referral, and I got more HEX than I would have paid out in dollars. So there's all kinds of methods. You can do the same sort of thing. If you need to pay rent, if someone needs to pay you rent, if you need to pay for a bill, you can have these openers for conversations. Most of the times when you approach a pretty girl, it's not telling her that she's pretty. It's talking about some other weird shit, right? You're talking about something else. So that's a lot of your potential when it comes to talking to someone that has little to no experience with crypto itself. They've heard about it, but they don't really know what it's about. And it's just conversation openers.
In the crypto space, the kicker is everybody wants to know how the gears turn, right? They want to know how it works. And sometimes they won't listen to your answers, but they got to know how the gear turns. Everybody's a mechanic, okay? You don't need to be a mechanic to drive a car, all right? Anybody can get into HEX if we stop trying to tell them how to be a mechanic and we just tell them how to drive the car. And that's where the adoption's going to come from. They don't need to be that deep into it to understand that it freaking works. And, I think we have too many crypto space people trying to be a mechanic and get under that hood and try to dissect it and find everything that's wrong with it just to find out that it's running perfectly fine.
I agree. Absolutely. It needs to be simple. That's one reason I'm looking forward to things like Staker app or other people building inside the HEX community that actually use it real world wise. So most people don't want to know how a toaster works. They just want toast. Most people don't want to know what's underneath the hood. They just want to get from point A to point B. I agree.
All right. Well, that covers the BTC pretty well. Since we're talking about one major, let's go to another one real quick because I think I saw you, Jim, either tweet or Telegram something today regarding the ETH fees. How do you think that's impacting? Is it any impact on HEX adoption right now? Things are just outrageous across the board. But I saw you mention that. I was just curious as to your thoughts on that.
Well, I'd like to hear other people's opinion that were in crypto in 2017. Did expensive fees change?
It's more than that now, right?
Well, in 17, Ethereum, I would move from to get from an exchange into a shitcoin, unfortunately. So I didn't care about the fees because I was promoing. When the BTC was surging,
We all did it, Gary.
fees didn't matter as much.
Shout out to Litecoin, baby.
Yeah, I bought Litecoin for that reason.
Dude, it's nice. That was a pro gamer move right there to move your money from exchange to exchange. But the fees got crazy.
What do you? I think when it's something like staking and it's $3 or $4, I think that's expensive in most people's mind. $5 in order to connect a wallet or whatever. Hey, man.
Hey, what's up, guys? Can you hear me?
Oh yeah, loud and clear.
Yeah.
Right on. Well, look at this motley ass crew. What's up,
Taking up the
Cabana?
whole screen. What's up, bro? Thanks for stopping by, man.
It's
Oh,
Carlos. It's Carlos.
See,
Carlos. It's Carlos. Yeah, we're
they
going with
added me
Carlos.
earlier, so yeah.
Oh,
We're all trying to have first names here, so we stop looking like bots.
what
Oh
everybody
yeah,
docks
the
themselves?
beep bop boop. Yep. So,
Well, we're not doing last names. Of course, everybody knows who I am. It doesn't freaking matter. You come see me at convention, get up in my face, and tell me that Hex sucks, and see what happens.
I'd actually like to be there
You
for that
badass.
moment. Yeah.
So can everyone give an opinion about this ZK Sync thing? Is that really a fee saving mechanism or is it a privacy saving mechanism?
Go for it, Coffee.
Eventually, it's going to be both. I mean, I've used it. It saves you on fees. I mean, it's disgusting how much fees it saves you. You don't even pay. I think you pay a penny at the most. It's basically Lightning, but for Ethereum. You could think of it like that. I could see it being used for payments. I mean, any kind of merchant accounts. It works right now today.
That's what I'm saying.
only in
Just the
beta.
only difference is it works.
Yeah,
Fuck Lightning on some real shit.
Lightning is really garbage. I can talk about how much garbage.
Why do we got to keep making stuff that works?
It's fucking junk,
That's
man.
not how crypto's
terrible.
done.
Lightning has this problem that I don't think it's ever really going to work because it's a problem of inbound liquidity where nobody ever wants to connect a channel to you. You have to go out and connect to other people. And it's complicated. I don't even want to talk about it because it's stupid. But ZK Sync, from what I've seen, it's pretty awesome.
Well, it's also another attack vector too. So it's one more chance to lose your funds if the Lightning network gets hacked. Let alone if the main BTC chain is 51% attacked by Chinese miners.
Yeah, you can lose all the funds on your Lightning node if you forget the private key for it. What's up?
Hey, Coffee, the other day you did a video about the privacy, sending the coins privately.
Oh, yeah. I mean,
Have you tried doing that again? Because that looked like it was super expensive.
It was about a 12% fee. I mean, I figure, hey, maybe that's the cost of doing business. Maybe privacy is expensive, whatever. I don't really know where the fees
Take
come
one for
from.
the team.
I'm assuming it's, it was 1,200 HEX, so really not that big of a deal. But I could see how for the everyday person, maybe they wouldn't want to do that. I didn't try with higher amounts because I didn't know if it was proportional. So if I transformed 1 million, would it still be a 12% fee? Because I'm not about to do that. You know what I mean? So I heard it was a dev fee. I haven't really seen any documentation from a dev, whatever dev built it. I am in the channel though, so I guess I could just ask around. I haven't really asked, but apparently they're playing with some kind of, variables that I think it's fee related. I don't think it's, I think it's dev fee related. I don't think it's gas fee related. So it's all speculation. I really am not an expert in it, but there's a Telegram channel. So
is it basically the ZK Sync? Is it basically just a second layer on top of Ethereum? It can't replace Ethereum in kind of
exactly
the contract or anything like that.
Yeah, you got to transfer your money from MetaMask into the Layer 2 wallet, which is ZK Sync, and that actually costs quite a bit of gas. I think I paid like $3, but that's just because fees in general are high. But once your money's in there, you could transfer a whole bunch in there basically, and just use that as your payments wallet. So, give it out to people at conferences or whatever you want to do with it. But it's instantaneous.
I was playing with it a little bit. I think that was the reference to the Twitter tweet that I put out, and it was on these experiment tokens. They could do MTTN or MTN or something like that tokens.
Yeah,
play around.
They give you 100 tokens for free. Yeah,
I think it's sort of closer to what Richard said. It's like it's not that important, but it just looks great for marketing. Over 2,000 transactions per, what a block or whatever. Fastest speed. And so
again, we're marketing to the crypto space again. That's the kicker is we add all these bells and whistles to market to the crypto space. And if they believe, they have that belief, they hate HEX, you're not going to change that. No matter how many bells and whistles you slap onto it, they're just going to sit there and deny it till they can't.
Yeah. And you're also kind of solving a problem that doesn't exist yet, because in order for transaction speed to be a problem, you got to
there have to be transactions.
Yeah, exactly. But I mean, it'll be a good one day.
Fucking
how many of these messages or narratives popped around. You're like, why isn't my token going up? Well, it's not fast enough. Okay, now it's fast. Okay, why isn't my token going up? It's all the stuff we heard in 2017.
Yep.
Like, I bought this bag. Why is it not going up? Well, nobody's marking it.
Yeah.
Hey, Cabana, can you add some mods in Dlive? We need some people that need to be put in timeout. Okay.
Yeah, make me a mod.
I'll be a mod too, man.
Oh, I am a mod.
Don't let them talk shit and say stupid shit.
Hammers.
We got some haters in here.
Let me see.
Let's send them a link. Bring them on camera.
I don't think they're in Dlive. I think they're somewhere else. Are you streaming to multiple? You're on YouTube too, right?
YouTube. I'm not seeing much there. I mean, one guy may have been muted, but
I don't see anybody really.
Crypto Vince wants to be a mod too.
All right. I'll head over there after I bring up the next topic, and this kind of actually one of these comments here on YouTube. Perfect segue, because the next topic we want to get into is the marketing. So I guess, Randy, you're kind of more into the marketing. Maybe you're a good one to start with here, but what's your take on the current marketing efforts for you personally? Also, what's been, say, the most impactful ad that you've seen, and maybe something that you would change?
Well, I love the the physical advertisements, because that's not something that's been done too much in crypto. I know Dogecoin did it back in the day with the NASCAR. Bitcoin, there was a couple that, Brock Pierce, Trace Mayer, those kind of guys, they did some stuff. EOS. When I was with Steemit or the Steam team, we used to do lots of swag and things like that. And I like that traditional marketing. People, just because we're in technology doesn't mean we have to just stick with technology to do marketing. So I think that's a great thing to do. But the problem is with the UK one, it's only in London, right? Or it looks like it's just UK based. I will be doing it in other big tech cities as well. But hey, I'm not the one paying for it. So if it's whoever's doing it and it's their referral code, Godspeed, go for it, right? But it could be done in any city. I'm a carpet bomber marketer. I believe just going out there and getting as much information out. Yeah, man. I just go out and I put information everywhere.
Bomber. Oh, my bad. I thought you said something else.
No, carpet bomber.
So
I like the B52 of marketing.
I like these. I like these after
coffee over here. Go ahead.
I like these after stream pirate raids you guys are doing on freaking Dlive and shit, man. I think that's good stuff there.
The next great onboarding mechanism. That's so cool.
Yeah, I've been working on the anime boys, man. I've been jumping on these anime streams trying to get these guys on HEX and stuff.
Stay away from the shed boys.
Yeah, stay away from those guys. Yeah.
Shed goat, whatever his name is.
So Coffee over here had a very good point where he was talking about there are, to see something in three forms of media, and he was talking about that. I don't know what that was called, but you're absolutely right.
It's called ubiquity illusion. So the idea is typically 3 media, 3 people, but online it works for 2 media, 2 people. So you hear it from one person on Twitter and one person in the newspaper. It's 2 different media and 2 different people that you trust that gave it to you. all of a sudden you feel like it's everywhere. You feel like it's a deeply rooted network, even if it's not. You know, we kind of got to fake it till we make it. That's all advertising is. So,
and we do have a little bit of a problem with real world advertising now. And the main problem with real world advertising now is print is pretty much dead. We could put billboards up all over the place and people don't look up from their phone. You know, there are the marketing world in itself has changed so dramatically. I mean, I spent like $2,000 for a Yellow Book ad back in the day. I got one call. I've got 3 ads, dude. 3 ads in the book. You know, they're like beautiful. It's like you can flip through the pages and you'd stop right there on that page. They were just done so well. And 1 call. Because at that point in time, it was a turning point. It was a turning point when they were going to, everybody was Googling everything, right? So I didn't catch that turn point. And now Google controls the algorithms. So like Zen said, was the fact that, you know, you Google highest appreciating assets, Google won't mention crypto. So we have to find a way to get that in front of people's faces in the new times and not necessarily the old formats. I think the cab's great. I think the billboards and the you know, where people are standing around are great. That is doing that illusion that you're talking about, creating that presence, and that's very effective. But we're going to need a lot more than that in the future. But it's definitely nice to see.
Yeah. I mean, I think reposting that stuff on Twitter or social media is almost more effective than it in real life. You know what I mean?
Yep.
Yeah.
Because now you're making them look at it.
Yep.
It's like it's actually
they
here.
might have walked right by that sign and never saw it, but now you posted it on Twitter. Now they know it's there. They got to go back and go, son of a bitch, it is there.
I mean, the irony is too real, but you're right.
I got horrible places for marketing, but I don't know if it's a good idea or not.
Oh yeah, Pornhub, right?
There are no bad ideas.
Literally,
Moses wants to advertise on Pornhub.
I had an idea that. So I've been in tech in the Silicon Valley area for a long time. Everybody seems to have a product. They end up every year going to CES in Vegas. It's a huge, massive convention. If you guys don't already know what it is. And one of my friends actually was a CEO of a vibrator company. It sounds like you just said about porn, but it's like these high-end ones, like $250, $500 kind of vibrators. I mean,
Fleshlight. Right? We could do Fleshlight.
Cool. So I was thinking, even though this is not a fancy phone, this is a $35 pay-as-you-go AT&T phone or whatever, LG something, and you just buy it from the box. And I was like, okay, what I can do is I can this just cover comes off, whatever, it's part of the phone, and you can load it with the Staker app. You can load it with maybe today a small amount of HEX. Maybe that HEX is worth more in January when CES happens. And having a booth there of just having it as a giveaway, not a giveaway, as a raffle. They do these raffles. So it instills interaction, and people say it's a $1,500 phone. Why is it $1,500? Well, the phone is $25, but what's on it is $1,500 because we staked it back in July, right? And it's growing. So it's basically it's a demo process, and so I wanted to tie in and talk with like Firebun and Steph once their product is finished. You know, talk about, you know, this kind of thing about what's going to be a follow-on after the HEX contract stuff is done. You know, the HEX referral side of it's done. What do you guys think about like follow-on ideas when it comes to getting in front of people that have money, whether they're tech or they're buyers at CES kinds of conventions? If any of you have ever gone to those?
Yeah, there's a good video.
I'll tell you,
that's clever.
Do you guys remember when? Did you guys ever see Trace Mayer's videos from back in the day? I'm talking like 2011, 12. He used to give out the coins, the old Bitcoins.
Oh, that were loaded with a certain amount of Bitcoin. Like I'm talking 2, 10, 15, 20 Bitcoin or 100 when they were worthless, right? So, I mean, at CES or anything like that, I think that'd be a pretty valuable one as well. People still find those.
The big one that they have here is called TwitchCon. So TwitchCon is in San Jose every year. And of course, we're trying to get it more active in Twitch, and there's people getting their message out, regardless of whether it's HEX or other brands. But TwitchCon is another thing. I was like, hey, You should. I want Hexo to do really well on Twitch, and I want to either sponsor him or have him come to TwitchCon, because then that's just, again, more openers to people that are already familiar with digital assets or this exchange or this payment system that they're using, whether it's Twitch or Dlive or whatever, you know?
Yeah.
Do you guys remember in 2017 the candles, the Bitcoin candles?
No. What was that?
Yeah, since I'm a marketer, these things always stick in my head. They sold thousands of candles, and each candle had possibility of having one whole Bitcoin in it.
Hmm. Oh, they used to do these paintings. Do you remember the paintings?
Yes, they'd hide the code in there, right?
Yeah. That was crazy. I would never decode those. Like, I don't even know where to begin with those. But there was somewhere in this painting, there's a coded message that unlocks, 15 Bitcoin or something. So the painting itself was worth a shit ton of money.
I remember there was a guy that wasn't a crypto guy. He was like wanting to be Mr. Beast, like 2017 timeframe. And he just printed sticker. I think he actually went and he's like his first YouTube things. I mean, he had 1 million subscribers and he was nothing to do with crypto. But his thing was like, I want to buy a Bitcoin. How do I buy a Bitcoin? He's making phone calls in his video about how can he get a Bitcoin and buy a Bitcoin. And his episode was about buying a Bitcoin. And then once he bought the Bitcoin, I think he actually put it on stickers. Like he divided it up into like 10 different stickers. And then he attached them to like road signs in LA. And then he had like people do like a treasure hunt. Like, oh, here's the hint. It's close to this. It's close to that. And it engaged so many people that he was making his money back because of the YouTube video views and advertisement. He gave away, a full Bitcoin when it was like, I think at the time it was worth 16 grand, 17 grand at the time.
Wow.
So it's interesting. These are mechanisms that actually work,
Yeah.
Do you guys remember Pineapple Arcade giving away 100 Bitcoin? And they had their own, it was a browser type game.
How much of this shit worked?
I have no idea, but that's one marketing effort that sticks to my brain.
None of us even remember any of this shit. You know what I mean? It's like, oh yeah, I remember that obscure idea or that obscure idea. But what did it really do? I mean, if we want to get out to the masses,
it got popularized. It did get popularized.
Not by that shit.
You don't know that.
Price go up is what popularized it, and everybody jumping on board thinking it was going to be the next freaking thing. I mean, that's what popularized it.
And CNBC. CNBC telling us to buy Ripple at $3.
At $3, yeah.
But
how to guy Jerry X.
But institutional money is what pumped Bitcoin in 2017. It had nothing to do with fucking marketing. It had nothing to do with any gimmick or anything.
Litecoin right now.
I mean, it was straight up FUD and FOMO that was running rampant, and it was institutional money that was flooding the market. And that's what made it pump. And the only thing that we're going to be able to do, I think, with HEX is to legitimize it and turn it into what it really is. And that's a true banking product, and let people see it as that. I'm talking about that type of advertisement, like what a bank would put out, not, stickers and gimmicks.
A real financial instrument.
It needs to be a real financial instrument. You have to have a real fucking commercial that looks like, the family on the beach with their retirement plan and the whole freaking thing. I'm serious.
I know.
The Fidelity commercials. Yeah,
I know. It's got to look like a goddamn Fidelity commercial. It can't
translatable.
Look like,
One thing I would
It can't look like my show, is what I'm saying.
I agree. Right, best host you got hosting right now. He's shite, dude. Get him.
Welcome to
HEX. You got to lose.
I think
to tone it down for the general public, we have to lose some of the hype. To tone it down for the general public, we have to lose some of the hype. We have to make it look more professional. The hype thing, the hype train, was to try to get those people that were susceptible to scams to jump in. And unfortunately, I think we've got so many people that have been hurt by broken promises that they're really bent on that whole everything's a scam now. So I think we got to tone it down. There are things digitally we have to realize that everybody's walking around with a smartphone now, and the best way to get something in front of somebody's face is not in it's get it to come up on the screen. And websites can. Yeah, the YouTube ads would be great, because they're interrupting right now. They interrupt everything. You see them for eToro, you see them for Coinbase, you see them for whatever. Those are coming up, But for some reason, Hex can't seem to buy a spot there. You know, that's the question. If they're gatekeeping, they're not allowing us to utilize those sources.
We got to clean up. We got to
to
clean up the footprint of Hex as well. When you type in Hex, the next results are a fucking scam. We got to clean all that shit up,
right?
Because a new person checks up. They're like, "What's Hex? Oh, that's cool. Hex, scam this, scam that." I mean, like it's cool when we started off, but we need to clean that shit up, dude.
I mean, it's not going to go away anytime real soon. But I mean,
but there's ways to kind of at least make them go lower.
We
down
have
the way,
to look
you know
like
what I mean?
we have to look like an institution. We have to look like an insurance commercial. It has to look like that. People need confidence in it. It needs to be marketed as a fucking CD like it is, you know?
Yeah. And part of that too is the language, right? So this is how I couldn't even get my ads approved, right? I can't get my ads approved if I use any BTC, crypto, any kind of buzzword that gets picked up by the algorithm, right? So we got to market it like this is a digital CD. I don't even say blockchain
digital.
CD. Blockchain CD.
Digital.
Yeah, it's a digital CD. And you know,
I just looked it up, guys.
A bankless digital CD.
Yeah, no middleman, whatever.
Guys, I just looked up HEX Crypto on Google, and everyone's different. Everyone's Google's going to be different, but it looks great. We got CoinGecko, we got Hex.win, CoinMarketCap. Then we have HexScam.com. There's one, but everything else looks good.
That's actually
that's a referral link. Yeah,
it's a referral link.
Yeah.
Hexscam.com is someone making money from people doing research.
One thing, going back to that question you had on the screen, Cabana.
Yep.
I love the taxis about what ads are most impactful. I really like the taxis, but the one thing that I would add to that is a QR code. So Hex.win is great, but if someone could just next time they see it and say, I'm curious what that is. Then the next time they say, I should have got my phone out quicker. Then the next time they see this pink cab come in, they could QR code it and go straight to Hex.win. Yeah. I would like to see that.
I'll tell you something a little funny about QR codes in the real world. That's another thing that is technologically savvy that we don't realize how technologically savvy that is. I'll tell you this for real, okay? So you see here, you see my QR code, right? I put that on my product so people can scan it. I even had one that links people directly to the website. But literally, when people come to my booth, I have to tell them to download the app so that they can scan it so it takes them to the website, because people don't really use the QR code as much as you would think they do. So you have to teach them how to use it.
People that do might be one step closer to being able to use Hex without all the extra one-on-one onboarding time. I don't know, possibly.
Well, you know what I've noticed a lot.
Yeah, but I mean, everything helps. You know, adding this and adding that, everything helps. But we do have to remember that we need to kind of bring it down a little bit so that the average person isn't afraid of it because it's too technological. When you start describing how things are done, you watch the eyes glaze over, and people don't, you lose them.
Yep.
Hey, another pitch you might think about now that I've realized this past week or so, I'm going to restaurants and they don't hand out physical menus anymore. They basically, when I've been checking in, they're telling you pull out your phone and scan a QR. And then your phone has the QR because they're doing it for this COVID reason. You might, an entrepreneur might approach your regular, again, the mom and pops and the smaller businesses that are really hungry for business. They're going to be easier to approach than like Gift Chang's. But what I'm saying is, you could approach them and say, hey, can I put right beside where because when you check in at the maitre d' is where they tell you to scan the QR for the menu. At least they have for me the 4 or 5 times this past week. And you could say, I'll split with the restaurant manager, talk to the manager, whoever you can do it. I'll split with the manager a percentage, where you want to negotiate, that you convert the moment that someone comes into your referral link. If it is one of these Hex referral links where you're getting some commission thing, you can source where that might come from. There's going to be some way that you can figure that out QR wise. But there's all kinds of ways that you could use QR, whether it's on the side of a taxi, whether it's on the side of a bus. But you can do like Steph just said in the message. These are great to meme and have conversations, but try it, see if it works. I know that there's people that have just made printed business cards with a QR on it, and they've got millions of Hex because of that. Yeah, it works.
What about, I think, I forget who brought it up right at the beginning, but the messaging or the hype and what could be too much hype? Because for me personally, when I see, what was it, 11,500% or whatever that is, I mean, it looks awesome. Like I know, we all know how awesome that is in terms of gains, but
Right.
what does the average person feel when they see that? Do they automatically be like, oh, crypto, that big of a gain, that seems kind of too good to be true or scammy or something like that?
They can't even comprehend it.
We
Yeah,
got to
it's
shorten
tough
up the
number.
marketing. All they have to see is the HEX logo and the name HEX. That's it. We have to look at Crypto Coffee shirt. We have to get people used to brand recognition. Oh yeah, I've seen that thing before. That's what we have. That's the level of awareness we have to get people at.
So I think it has to be in terms that I think RG3 was getting at earlier. Is they have to be understandable terms though, and if you say bankless or certificate of deposit, but a digital one, I think that can start to translate into their brains rather than blockchain.
Well, the soccer ad was really good though. I mean, that's people, I mean, outside the United States, soccer. I mean, you see, I'm calling soccer, right? Soccer is not that respected here in the United States, but outside of the United States, I mean, Mexico, anywhere in Latin America, Africa, Asia, dudes, football is huge.
I agree. I agree with Litecoin on the brand recognition. I think that just the simple logo needs to I think marketing on just sending the logo. You've seen those campaigns where you don't know what the fuck it is. It's just like, what is that thing? What is that thing? And you blast that thing for 3-6 months, and then you come out with a campaign, some type of, like I said, it's got to look like a bank. It's got to look like an insurance company. It's got to look like legit, for real. And I know this is labor intensive, but I think that literally, everybody who gets their referral code out there should take calls and be some type of a counselor or just some type of a consultant and say, well, I can teach you about crypto savings. I can teach you about what a crypto CD is all about, or what is sitting down and talking to someone and them having a phone number and then being able to talk to somebody intelligently about what HEX is. Because I mean, if you go and start researching it on your own and you're not into crypto at all, it's going to let's go, whoa, fuck this, man. I mean, they don't even know Bitcoin, and then now they're going to go try.
People in crypto don't even get it.
Yeah, so I mean, you'd literally have to sit down with somebody and explain it to them. So having them actually reach a human being that can be a consultant of some type with some really nice advertising, I think. And then like I said, it's labor intensive. But hey, if you got your art ref code out there, why not spend 15, 20 minutes with somebody over the phone to onboard them?
Yep. And that's doable through Facebook ads, which is something I used to do for more just digital consulting, but running ads, remarketing to the same people that clicked on them. So you get a more and more refined list over time, and you know exactly who's interested. But then you send them through basically a click funnel, retargeting. Yeah, it's pretty basic marketing stuff. Then you basically hit them with a click funnel funnel that with a YouTube video that tells them all about, that's the weird part is that it worries me a little bit is, am I getting into the legal end of being advertising a financial product, and will this come around to bite me at some point because somebody lost money and I don't know.
If it's a crypto asset, though, I mean, it's literally a commodity, not a financial product. So if you're teaching people about HEX, showing them what it's all about, and then just sending them to their own devices, which is they've got to click on the link, they've got to purchase a Coinbase account, they've got to buy Ethereum, they've got to go and mint their own HEX and do all those things and stake it. You're just basically telling them what it is. Let me what is this thing? What is a bankless certificate of deposit look like? Because if you want to try and get around the algorithms, wording like that, a bankless certificate of deposit, a bankless digital certificate of deposit, call me and ask me what it is. And then, coach them, say, hey, you've got to do this, you've got to do this, you've got to do this. And, here's some links to Coinbase and Hex.win, all that stuff. And you send them on their way. But they talk to somebody and they have a phone number, of somebody that they talk to. And that's,
Yeah,
Yeah, that could be part of a course. Actually, you could pay for subscriptions to a course,
Conrad's
and then
doing
for
that.
extra money, yeah, he's
Conrad's
doing
been
that.
doing
Conrad
that.
is doing that.
Yeah.
Which is awesome. But on top of that, what RG3 just said, you can even put maybe a WhatsApp number in there. It doesn't have to be your personal number, but you can say for an extra $20 a month, you could talk to me. I'll be your one-on-one counselor for any questions you have that's not covered in the course.
And what are you doing? Helping
soon.
people set up ladders and stake their HEX or mint their HEX? I mean, what are you doing? You know, and then I mean, it's not really that. It's not that difficult. It's not a lot of work.
You mentioned a key word.
Previous prior to crypto websites, that's exactly what I added was crypto coaching, and it wasn't about every crypto. It's really only about Ethereum, Bitcoin, and HEX. That's the only 3 things I'll coach about. And when you were saying earlier about how shocking it would be to have 115 times your money, when you say 115,000 on the side of a billboard, that is beyond most people's comprehension.
Yeah.
But what you can say, and you have to be careful about how you frame it, and as transparent as you possibly can, that dollar returns are not HEX returns. You got to be able to say that properly, like you said about your protection. But it's already built into the code. 20% more for each year that you stake. So longer pays better is a reality. It's built into code. So if you said 20% more per year, I mean, that's 20% more than a CD pays almost. I mean, a CD doesn't pay that. So you have to be careful how you jump from fiat to HEX, but the HEX return for a longer pays better reward is true. And just state that. Make it a simple statement.
I think with commercials, if we ever do have commercials, we got to lean forward with that honesty, because a lot of other financial products have, like, you know, it's like they hit the music and then they have this person talking really fast.
The
disclaimer at the end.
You got to have a disclaimer, and you could just have
Right.
somebody legally set that up, you know, and show you how to, you know,
it should always say like if you stake HEX, let's just say you stake for a year, you will always end up having more HEX than you started with.
Period.
If you complete that allotted time, that right there, like if you end early, like being really honest.
I
about
liked
it is how
Seth
we win.
Mendoza's whiteboard video was really good. That's something like would work in the real world.
And it's interesting because Dollar does this all the time with bonds. We've talked about bonds. You know, when you're a kid and your grandmother bought you a $50 bond, and you waited 10 years for that to mature. Well, it has nothing to do with purchasing power. It tells you nothing about what $50 in 10 years will buy. It may buy shit. It may buy hardly anything, but it will give you $50 more. So if you just put it in the same frame, in the same terms, in the same reality as a bond that was pitched in dollar, it's the same thing. I mean, who knows what the purchasing power of HEX will be? It may be 1000x. It may be, 1x of what it is today. Who knows?
I emergency and staked all of Grandma's bonds and bought beer. I swear.
Mama Rock, no.
Like one weekend, and
I still have a bond somewhere.
Yeah. I think I remember seeing them like 25-cent ones. They end up turning into $1 after like 7 years or something. Oh
my God. It was an EE bond. It took 7 years to mature. You're right.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Hey, Cabana, can you show that screen? I just pulled that up from
I might
Richard
be able
Hart.
to. I don't want to wreck it.
If you pull me down, you can pull it up.
All right. Well, we'll keep working on it. But while I work out the technical stuff on here, one of the keywords that I heard RG3 say was asset, and I think that kind of speaks about HEX differently than other cryptos because, and we've talked at length for a couple streams on Discourse, but how it is different than just a tradable currency to where people are like, well, how do I trade it? How can I profit from it? How can I flip it? And it's not like that. We all know, but it's getting that message out to people to be like, okay, this is actually much safer if you do, as designed, and you tuck it away and you actually hold it instead of wrecking yourself and trying to flip prices and whatnot. So I think that has to be, maybe mixed in that message there somewhere.
Yeah.
I just want to set it and forget it and not have to look at the chart for a couple years until I decide to take some out. But unfortunately, I keep getting drunk back in.
Till my alarm clock goes off and it reminds me, you have a stake due.
What I've been doing with friends is I was like, here, bro, give me $1,500. I will stake 1 to 15 years, and I'll set it for your birthday month. There you go, bro. Every birthday month, you just cash it out, man. Yeah, and then they're pretty. They're gonna be pretty happy. I think they're gonna be really happy, especially when they get to year 15.
So this was just set up on not only Twitter, but also Richard called it out on Telegram. So I thought everyone might want to see it since it's applicable to what we're talking about.
This article has almost more impact than the ad itself because in Telegraph, right? So so that's
a lot of crypto I see in that now. Yeah,
I tell you guys, the guys at Crypto Daily, they asked me to write articles about Hex.
Really?
Well, that's awesome.
They're getting more traffic with the Hex articles than the other articles.
Wow. Yeah, I believe that.
My bags,
I wonder what this
bro.
article's take is going to be, though. I wonder if they're going to try to shit on it somehow.
Dude,
I don't know.
I saw Richard trolling fucking Charlie Lee earlier.
I saw that too. Yeah.
Yeah, 10x. Steph's comments.
See, one of the things is, folks, when we talk about cryptocurrency in general, the way the system has worked is people do have to be involved. They have to check their blockfolio. They have to check their stops. They have to trade. They have to this. They have to that. It's so much to do and so much to learn that the average person's like, I ain't doing all that. And what is so great about Hex is you can set it and forget it, except for the fact that us that have been in the space know how intricate it is, and it keeps us engaged. Even though we know we're not doing anything with it right now, it keeps us engaged because something is always freaking happening. Yep. So the whole I'm going to buy it and I'm just going to leave it alone doesn't work because things are constantly changing, and it's like it constantly re-engages you. And I've not seen anything like this,
Oh, and he's gone. So since he's gone, I'm going to jump in real quick here. It's funny because Steph was just saying, give them a little taste. Just tell them it's 10x, then give them a little taste is what he says. Yeah. And I love that because there's a reason drug dealers do that because it works.
Yeah, we were talking about free claims earlier.
Yeah, maybe the language we should use is just a 1 year stake because people have short term. If you stake your Hex for 1 year, you will get 2.5x return on your Hex. Maybe that's the language we should use, like the more short term.
I think the learning curve about knowing, and again, it depends on whether they're going to not like you in the future because they realize in that future that they could have had more. I don't want to overwhelm people either. I love detail and minutia and all these different trivia bits. But if someone just says, hey, try it out for a year, see what happens in a year, right? That seems like it's a smaller frame. Hey, it's gone very multiple in the past. Just shoot for 10x. See what you get out of 10x. I think that's good.
Guys, this article is awesome. You got to check it out.
I just retweeted it.
Oh my God.
Read it.
I'll read it to you. I'll read it. Hold on 1 second.
Yeah, let's
because it starts off negative, right? It starts off Richard Hart's controversial Hex token launched an advertising blitz in the UK, and it goes blah blah blah. 4 months ago, the altcoin was priced at 0.00000 whatever, and then it showed an increase of 12,000%. So they're like secretly bullish. They're talking about how it rose 12,000%. And then they're trying to act like they still think it's a scam. So the next header is many in the crypto community believe that Hex is a quote scam. Many in the crypto community are wary about the token due to the high rates of returns often associated with Ponzi schemes or an investment scam. Someone on social media compared Hex to the notorious Ponzi scheme BitConnect. But then the Hex community is well aware of the token's poor reputation. And one user said he recently asked a family member to pick up in London, one of the Hex ads in the newspaper. That person Googled it, said it was a scam after he Googled it. So in other words, new potential onboarders are seeing scam right from the get-go. And the quote says, this is going to kill Hex unless something is done. And then the final paragraph is it's expanding rapidly. So they talk all about how it used to be so small, and now it's $1.5 billion according to Coin.
Yeah.
And the number of exchanges doubled from 9 to 18, and the 24-hour volume was through the roof.
Quit doing what you're doing, Hex, because it's getting bad for you.
It's like Cointelegraph's getting poorer and poorer as the ads go.
It's like they really want to say it's not a scam, but they gotta use that word just to please everybody.
I'll tell you what the difference is here, guys, is that the people that are marketers in crypto are all attracted to HEX.
Yeah.
And we just multiply it.
Yep.
Well, it's funny because Richard likes that controversial thing, because if people are speaking about it, whether they're saying good things or bad things, there's no bad press. It's bringing attention, it's bringing awareness, so it does have that effective aspect. But I lean to agree with RG that at this point that we have to take more of a formal position and maybe market to the outside world more professionally and not they don't need to have all the information. They just need to know that it's a good project. We don't have to tell them 11,000x.
The psychologicals are going to bring the crypto people in, the 1 penny, the 5 penny,
Right.
all that shit, and
the Cointelegraph.
Cointelegraph, all of that.
They
shit
follow. They don't lead. They follow.
Yeah, they're gonna it's gonna be like off the cliff, man. They're gonna be like, oh, Hex.
It's kind of like,
and it's kind of like where we have that misconception that the crypto space is the innovators. In all actuality, they're all followers. They follow what somebody's opinion is of somebody's opinion of somebody who I didn't know who any of these damn people were. Until I got into the crypto space, and they're celebrities. It's like, who the hell do they think they are? They're.
We should start having ads like $1 of Bitcoin buys you 0.000000001, or $1 of Hex buys you like 20.
That would work.
50 right now.
Yeah,
it's interesting.
What is it? 50? No. $1 Hex buys you 200.
Price go up. Hex show up on the right spot on the freaking charts, and they're going to be clamoring to get it. They'll be buying it when it's expensive.
I say we troll the maxis.
And I think the last minute claiming is going to happen, guys. That last minute claiming is going to happen, and it's going to be the funniest damn thing on the face of the planet. Because they're going to get in and they're going to go like, okay, we're going to claim a day before and we're going to dump on big payday, because they've done all this time. They've been not looking and they've been not following, and they haven't read a damn thing. And they're going to claim the last day thinking they're going to dump the price. And they're going to go, I've staked for 350 days. I can only drop 10% of my 1 Hex I can now get because I lost 300 whatever percent.
It's like anything that's sex, drugs, and rock and roll. Anything that's quote unquote sexy has a very simple message. Why do you want sex? Because it's fun. Why do you want drugs? Because it's fun. Why do we want rock and roll? Because it's fun. Because it's fun. That's part of it, right? But we are trying to sell the chemists and say, no, this drug does this because of this compound. No, this does, this ROI and this banking and this staking, and then all the language and terminology that we really get into when we're in the know. Like Steph was saying, keeping it simple, keeping the message simple. It is fun because why is it fun? Well, it's a little bit dangerous, just like sex, drugs, and rock and roll.
Yeah. I like what Hex Toshi says. You know who I'm a big fan of for marketing is Alan Bittmer. His memes are on point.
Hey, who's that?
Memes. He does memes with a
meme
QR.
creator.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yep. Yeah,
a little bit raunchy, but I love it.
Yeah. The gatekeeping is it's annoying, right? But they have the right market cap on CoinMarketCap. It's not correct totally, but it's pretty accurate. The only gatekeeping is the rank at this point.
Did we win?
And it's like, I don't even think that's a bad thing, because all of a sudden when they are forced to look at it, it's going to be an avalanche. I mean, everyone's going to pile into it. It might go from 15 to 3 overnight.
I think they're waiting till post AA.
We will pass XRP. I assure you.
They're waiting until nobody can say it's going to be an exit scam, because that's probably the last remaining conspiracy theory is, big exit on day 353. Everybody watch out,
Yeah. Well, they're expecting that all these stakes are supposed to come due on that day. That's what a lot of them are expecting because they don't know what's going on.
And even the ones that are, they're Bitcoin free claims. So people don't realize how small those are relative to people that actually buy it on Uniswap.
Freaking tiny.
They're like dumping pennies.
And if you stake for just a year, okay, and you have staked them for day one, and you get the big payday, you only make double your stack, okay? So even if they were to dump half that stack, it doesn't. The smart people are not going to just drop their HEX because when
all of them are
insignificant. And I think the people that are in HEX can see a little bit beyond that, you know. Because I mean, if you want to double your money, buy something and resell it. You know, buy something wholesale and resell it. You want to double your money. That's easy. Yeah. You drop your HEX, you're actually losing your position. So this dumping the price thing that sounds like a buying opportunity if people are going to do that.
Absolutely.
You know, it doesn't sound like but that's how things have been done, right? You run the price up and you dump it. That's what we're seeing right now with some other stuff. It's gonna come crashing eventually.
Yeah.
So that's just the mentality. So you give them something different, they cannot accept that reality, you know, because this is how it's always been done, right? They can't accept that mentality, so they're still looking for that dump. And that they're going to hold on to that until it doesn't happen.
I think it's very interesting because in these other coins, especially in 17, if you had a wall, right, a buy wall, a sell wall, and you said, hey, it's going to be a dump, and you saw some kind of spike, that's because those orders are waiting for you. Maybe they don't have stops. And if they didn't have stops, then yes, you could sell into it. Yes, you could buy into it. But I don't think that that's the same, obviously, with HEXDEX or with any kind of Uniswap. You actually have to go in there and say, I'm going to go buy now. What am I buying at? I'm buying at the price I'm buying right now. Well, how much are you buying? Well, you'll see the slippage maybe, but it's not the same as a conventional exchange. Even if it's hot bid or something like that, that might be moving.
What if
volume.
the OA sets the sell walls and buy walls?
What'd you say?
What if the OA sets the sell walls and the buy walls?
Could. Easily could.
What happens then? People that are out. And then the price pumps beyond that, and then you're going to be the guy saying, "Why'd I send a HEX?"
I love that guy.
That's what happens. The OA has more than you, and everybody thinks that's a malevolent and not a benevolent being. But here's the fact: those buy walls and sell walls can be set, and that price becomes a stable coin at that point.
Yep.
Yeah. But I don't even really care, dude. I'm fucking 100% staked, so fuck it.
Yeah.
GT said that the other day.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's like, I don't care. I don't even care what the price is anymore.
Dude,
I'm looking at my crystal ball, and
all that matters when you sell it.
Exactly. I foresee CZs apologizing in 6 months, saying, "Oh, I was doing it to protect crypto,
right? To protect the investors.
You're not on the front page.
We had to do our due diligence and all that.
Right.
Yeah. He's gonna apologize.
But never mind that I wanted to go back to chain when we got hacked.
I've been seeing her memes.
There's a great effort to preserve things as the way they are. That's the fun. HEX challenges the way things are, and that is where the resistance is coming from. It has nothing to do with Richard's abrasive personality or any of that things. It's the fact that their services are not really needed. Okay, you don't have to chase the damn dollar. You can actually save, hodl, like people wanted to do back in 2017, but really they were just looking for their opportunity to dump, right?
Yep.
So therein lies the difference. We've got something you can actually hold and it appreciates.
Yeah. I wish I dumped. I didn't dump. I held that shit.
Me too.
Yeah.
Until your fucking hands smelled like shit.
Yeah.
Wait, dump what?
And now people are begging for their old coin to come back to whatever their high was in the past. I would rather be involved in this by far. It's so much up.
Yeah. There's this thing that I've been, me and Charlie and Wasabi have been figuring out that like coins that don't have bag holders are in full price discovery mode right now. And because we don't have these bag holders, because we are the starter class essentially with this asset, that sky's the fucking limit.
But really that class of people, Trace Mayer calls those like, it could almost be a good simile is they're like the buyers of the hodlers of last resort, right? So there's people that are in Bitcoin that are never ever going to sell. But with HEX, you always get more of those people because there's always going to be a price floor created when you get rid of all the people that didn't stake. So the staking class is the literal price floor. It's the holders of last resort, except you can see them visually and you know who they are. So
exactly, and then there's also like rationalizations eventually with the longer term stakes, right? Where well, maybe I'm getting off topic. I don't want to get into that. That's a little more advanced when it comes to like holding for long term stakers.
It's also interesting if you are part of that staking class, even if you're starting tomorrow as a staking class, you have yield in the form of more HEX. You have yield that's paying out. That also becomes part of your onboarding budget. If you're going to onboard yourself, if you're going to be participating in something else, bring other people into the organization or into the system. You don't have that inside of Bitcoin. You don't have that in maybe in other kinds of tokens that have some kind of APR kinds of things. You only can sell at a high and maybe buy back at a low. You don't really have a multiplication or an interest process, you know? So you have budget, you have operational budget, cash flow.
Yep.
All right. Well, we're talking staking percentage. That's kind of like a good segue. I actually had it on the list for a couple questions down, but I think we can go ahead and just bring it up now. So I think staking percentage currently is like 17-ish%.
I'm fine with that.
Yeah, that's what I wanted to get you guys' opinions on. Anybody want to jump in on that one?
Yeah. It started off 90, right? Now it's about 17. And I know we all know the OA owns 50 to 75, 80%, and those are majority liquid. So I don't consider those moving. I consider that a beneficial thing to help us all get more interest. I mean, I think everyone probably agrees on that, at least up until big payday. And maybe after that, kind of the numbers shift around. But I think this is all kind of a play to make it more attractive to stake HEX early on. And basically, because you're getting a bigger share of the same interest.
It's a pumpamental.
Yep.
It holds our market cap up as well, so it gives us a better place.
And that too.
Market cap listings, which is visible. And you always want to be on page one, for the most part.
Well, the biggest thing also has been the structure, even though everyone gave us crap about it or gave Richard crap about it, of what needs to be sold. Well, ETH has been contributed, transformed, whatever it's been called as far as a frame, but there really hasn't been a reason for an OA to sell. Why would there need to be? Even as this idea of an exit scam, the only people you can exit scam on are people that are actively waiting in a queue to buy at that moment. Because the moment that it spikes down, there's no more people waiting in that queue. They all run for the hills. So you can never really make money significantly from dropping HEX as an OA or anything like that. But you can 1,000x, 10,000, 100x, 1,000.
No, you shoot yourself in the foot.
Longing it. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
See, other coins don't have that result of producing more and that passive income. See, that throws that whole thing away. Why would you sell your factory when it's generating more that you could sow bit by bit and make a regular residual? Because, see, the other coins, basically, they wanted you to buy them, get the money, and then they dump it, and they dump before you do, and then all their investors get screwed. And HEX, you've got the OA can generate more too, and it does. So, and no one's ever going to, it's like people feel like it's unfair because the OA has so much, they don't have that much. It's that I wish I had more mentality, or I don't have control of this. Well, welcome to life. We don't have control over anything. We don't have control over Bitcoin. We don't have control over fiat. All of this finance stuff is imaginary figures that have been incorporated into our reality that we define value by. So it's funny to hear those arguments, but it just shows what they don't understand, though. It's kind of frustrating. You expect
that's what
more.
cracks me up about the Bitcoin maximalists. It's like, dude, the banks own more than you do. What are you maxi about? What do you control?
Well, exactly.
The banks and the miners.
Yep.
It's everything.
And BitMEX
Like,
owns more than you do, and BitMEX bets against their own people. So you know what do you get? They get you excited about the price, and then they dump it on your head, and there goes your short. You know, there goes your long, there goes your short. Just
Yeah, you don't
liquidate.
think
All
there's
you're
going to
doing
be
is just giving away your money.
Yeah, you don't think there's going to be a scam wick short or liquidating longs? Because I guarantee there's a lot of people longing Bitcoin right now on shitmex.
Oh,
My worst day in crypto, I think my worst day in crypto was, I think it was like September 8th or 9th of 2017. And remember that fake Chinese news?
Dark ball of doom.
Yeah, I lost 7 Bitcoin.
Which one?
That day, man. That was the most painful day of my crypto life.
Wow.
And
Training, really?
Yeah.
Randy. That's why you need to quit.
Yeah, I quit.
He's officially reformed. He announced it on Twitter.
Congratulations on the reforming.
I still get referrals. I mean, we were shilling our BitMEX referral links going back to 2015. So, you know, I still get my referrals every day. So I'm just taking that Bitcoin, taking it out, switching to ETH, and going to X.
I love it.
Nice.
When HexMex?
I mean, everything's a gimmick.
Maybe tomorrow.
Everything's a freaking gimmick that's out there, and Hex is actually the closest thing to real that there is. And it's like, you know, it takes away from the gimmicks. You know, that's the problem. That's why everybody hates it so damn bad.
I see real business people, real entrepreneurs, real investors, real marketers in Hex that I don't see in the rest of the crypto space. And then you get some faux guru on YouTube calling it a scam. It's like, wait, who am I going to believe? Am I going to believe the people that I see actually building something in life, or these guys who are scamming people?
How many people we got here in finance? Right? We got people that are finance, people that run multiple businesses. We've got people that are journalists. We have the smartest people in crypto. And I'm not trying to be egocentric about it either. I'm just saying in general, if you look at the professions that the people have in Hex, and you look at what they've accomplished without in the real world, it's pretty interesting, you know. We're not just guys broadcasted from our basement, you know.
Yeah, I don't even have 10.
Yeah, we are.
RG3 is.
Well, yes, but no.
in.
I hate
I'm
to
in
bring
a
up.
dirty ass hotel room.
Oh my God, dude.
Actually, I'm
So shout
guest
out for the Four
hosting.
Seasons.
Yeah, I'm guest hosting the Discord syndicate from my basement, so I probably better not comment on that.
There was freaking rubber packages underneath my bed the other
That's
day.
gross, bro.
Man.
Where's the skank?
I think some of these guys are broadcasting from mommy and daddy's basement. Okay, that's where I was kind of going with that.
And I'm going to say something about that. In Hex, the average age of the people, if you look around, we're a little bit older.
Mm-hmm.
That's a really good point.
Not me.
Except for Hex Jesus. Hex Jesus is like
Forever
19,
young.
I think. 19.
Don't hate me because
I'm 20, bro.
You got to stop drinking on stream, bro.
Oh man, shit, man. They want to do shit
Yeah.
to me.
Because we're promoting a boring ass certificate of deposit.
That's right.
That's why.
That can
It
make
is
you
boring.
way more potentially than.
Yeah, so damn boring, RG. It's so damn boring that I still can't get out of these things when I purposely got into Hex so that I can set it and forget it.
Dude,
And I can't stop being engaged. I can't stop watching all the stuff that's happening. And it's like,
what we really have to push is just more content creators. That's the biggest thing Hex could do right now. Is that from what I've seen from other communities, like Hex punches above its weight.
Yeah.
It really does. Like,
how few content creators there are in other projects. I made some random videos way back in the day before I really realized what my channel was going to be about. I made some for other coins, and people are still watching them to this day because they're some of the only videos about that particular coin that exist on YouTube. I'm getting, like, I made a shitty video about Orchid Network, which I don't even like. I would never recommend anybody buy that token. And I'm still getting views on it because it's like the only Orchid video made by a person that's not part of the company. I mean, it's weird.
I'm actually checking out the VPN right now.
and everything's anonymous too. I mean, that's part of the space. And you've got we've got what, maybe 30 people that have gone on camera to state their opinion on Hex. Has that ever happened in any cryptocurrency ever, where people would say, hey, I like this project, and put their face on camera.
Maybe Bitcoin. That's it.
Product, only one product? No, I don't see that. I see people that want to be influencers and they'll talk about the coin of the week or about the
the top 5 crypto is going to make you rich.
Yeah.
How to be a DeFi yield farmer.
The drama.
Yeah, what the fuck is that yield farming shit? Like,
So let me put my DAI token on the blockchain, and then from there borrow DAI on my DAI, and then put that back in and do it again until I can't borrow anymore. That's what it is.
It sounds so
Infinite
how can I 10x leverage myself?
My infinite leverage crypto.
Yeah.
Has anybody paid attention to this V2 flash loan capability? Has anybody experimented with flash loans? That's one of the reasons that V2 exists.
Not yet.
I asked Richard about it on our stream.
I was waiting for Crypto Coffee to make a
I got a
video.
problem. I got a problem with all this DeFi replication of the financial system as we know it, which we call fractional banking. We now have fractional crypto. We don't need a damn debt system. We need a damn wealth system. And that shit is getting so old. And in the meantime, they're calling HEX a scam. Why these people are going to flip their switches, shut their shit down, and people are going to be whining again, just like 2017 all over again. And they got liquidations. Notice that every new product has a liquidation. Free for you. We offer you an extra liquidation with every purchase.
With fees on top.
Do we really think the cypherpunks would really approve of DeFi? I don't think they would.
Not with letting. Well, see, HEX. I think in the form of HEX, absolutely, because it's a true trustless DeFi. You got an exchange that you don't have to KYC to get on. But no, not these other BlockFi and Compound or whatever they're called. Where
backdoors are not cypherpunk.
Yeah, absolutely. Not giving your coins to someone else to lend out to institutional investors, nonetheless. So. To people betting against you. So you're loaning your coin out to somebody who's betting against your coin.
So
because loaning your money to gamblers is a great idea.
Yeah.
Sunday.
Yeah. So we had this stream last night, and of course my internet sucked last night, but that was part of the reason why I wanted to bring on Crypto Coffee. And I was giving him props on his channel that one thing that he should be, and anyone in this stream that has their own too, that is a great example for all of those out there, that you don't have to come up with groundbreaking content, but just engage the community, whether it be the crypto community, the HEX community, whatever. The more content creators is good. And that was the point we were trying to drive home at the very beginning of the stream yesterday.
Yeah. I miss Crypto Coffee.
I'm proof of that.
Here's a funny thing, guys. I don't want to be a crypto influencer. I want to go back to my shop and hide and just make my trustless interest, which would be awesome. But unfortunately, there's so many idiots out there that will not listen, and they got to run their mouths, and I have to come out of my damn hole to talk about it. It drives me insane.
Yeah, we need you. The community beckons you.
Yeah, man. Come on.
Or it's about relatability. You can have one spokesperson, or you can have 30. And someone's going to pick out, even if you're saying similar messaging, if you're saying similar things about similar news, you have some similar commentary to a degree, they're going to pick out the tone. They're going to relate to your, persona. They're going to relate to you more. And you, it's self-fulfilling. Yeah,
exactly. Yep.
I agree, because not everyone can relate to a 19-year-old crypto YouTube guy with a bunch of shoes.
You're trying really hard to replicate Richard Hart's persona. I'm like, dude, Richard's a lot more chill than me.
Charles Manson's a lot more chill than you.
I am. I just ordered a light. I just ordered a circle light so I could start doing live stream on Dlive and YouTube as well. And I'll talk about NFTs. I like the the tradable cards and all that kind of stuff. I want to go after. I want to go after a different group.
TikTok videos.
Yeah. I'll help you out with that if you need, Randy. I know a lot about NFTs.
Oh, that's great. That's great. And hey, yeah, my wife, she just put out a new TikTok. It just went out like an hour ago, and it's already getting a bunch of retweets and stuff.
Dude, she's a machine, man. She comes out with so much content, man.
Oh, nonstop, man. You should see her on Uptrend, Steam It, Hive. She owns those places for the Spanish speaking.
Is that, you know, the nerd girl? She was shilling this one social media Note, I think. Is that any good?
Note.
Never heard of it.
It's called Note. Yeah.
No. I'll have to check it out, see if it's worth anything.
What's the speediest way for someone to use their phone to buy like $100 worth of HEX and have it on their phone? What's the speediest?
Probably through that MetaMask wire. To get $100 worth, just to get $100 worth. I mean, it'll let you do that, but anything more than that, it asks for KYC and shit. But you can like get a quick $100 out of there.
Changelly is a good one too.
Yeah.
Is that?
But we can't use it. I thought we couldn't use it in the U.S. I couldn't get it to work in the U.S.
Yeah,
and not MasterCard, I think.
Yeah.
I had a problem with my MasterCard, but I don't know.
I just use for $100.
I just use local Bitcoins.
That's always good. I love local cryptos. Is the kind of like the new local Bitcoin. You can actually buy stuff semi-anonymously. You gotta, trust that the other person's going to send it to you, but you can actually Venmo or Zelle or whatever, Cash App somebody for Bitcoin or Ethereum. So yeah. If you ever want to
about like small, like the onboarding is basically just small sales of around the garage and stuff. Like I have like late 50s, early 60s Corvette parts. And I was like, I think I'm going to advertise, and I'll say X dollars if it's dollar, but if it's X, it's less, 20% less. But then they have to basically take the time. I have to take the time with them to onboard them so that they can basically walk right away with a car part and then say, what the hell just happened? How did I get that? What did I just pay with? What is HEX? They can leave with that in their mouth about, or their head about, how did I get this for 20% cheaper?
Mm-hmm.
I think you can buy directly on hex.win on the actual. So if you go on CoinMarketCap and go on hex.win, the website, you can just link your bank account and buy HEX on there with the USD. That might be probably the fastest if someone's looking at CoinMarket shit. And just hit the website and stuff. I can literally do it right now and buy the HEX via bank, which is pretty useful. And then it also has a little portal right here for the swap for Uniswap as well. If someone already has crypto.
All right. I think we got a big payday discussion as the grand finale, but I just wanted to throw a few, I guess, more fun questions in there.
I like this one.
I'll go to this one. What was the worst and best HEX ETH ratio you ever received? Easy for me because I just put a sample in on day one, so whatever it was, the 21,000. Best, I think, was like 1.4. I lucked out on one of those days, 1.4 million. Anybody else? You don't have to answer, but anybody else want to chime in?
I threw some ETH on the worst day, on the lowest AA day.
Nice.
Shout out Dollar Cost Crypto.
My best ever was 800,000 for ETH, and my lowest or my worst ever was like 36,000 for an ETH.
Yeah.
So, kind of averages out or something.
Yeah. I'm not ashamed to say.
Scroll through the days and see what it was on that day. I think most of us were buying every single day.
I'm not ashamed to say that I only bought for the first week, and I didn't come back again until it was right around 70 per ETH. So I didn't have the huge gains that you guys had, but I'm still more than happy.
That's cool.
And shout out to
I bought several months.
People to buy ETH.
Several months fractions of these throughout the several months.
Yeah. I got one ETH on day 30 or something. It's about 1.4 million. So not the best possible day, but that was my best day. Worst day, I don't want to talk about my worst.
I did 0.289 ETH on day 33, and I wish I had blown my whole stack that day instead of dollar cost averaging. In fact, not long after that, I started doing that after listening to one of Richard's streams where he talked about, I don't know why you guys are dollar cost averaging as the price keeps going up and more people are claiming in the AA. Now's the time to buy your stack as much as you can. And I took that to heart. But, man, I wish that had been 10 ETH that day.
Yeah.
Yep.
The only regret I have is I got into Uniswap a little late, Like I was such a like a corn farmer, like a hexo. I was just an AA boy for the longest.
Corn farmer.
Yeah,
That does not surprise
He's a
me.
potato farmer.
Yeah, he's a potato farmer. Yeah. I told him earlier, like he stays in Hex long enough, man. He's gonna own half the state of Ohio, and he'll or Idaho, I should say.
Idaho, corn,
Yeah.
potatoes. It's all the
Yeah.
same.
Yeah, I was like, you make Idaho potato again.
So right now, if I go to hexdex.win and I put in, if someone was going to refer, they're going to be part of a referral, whatever, they could put in 1.2, let's say 1.2 ETH. That would be 67,000 hex on hexdex.win. But if they staked it beyond Big Payday, that's effectively twice as much, right? Because you can double it if you're staking. So people should consider they could be buying in, and if they bought in now and staked it and fulfilled what they said they're going to do, however long they're going to stake. But if it's beyond Big Payday, I like getting twice your money, twice on your money.
That's not
Shout out to the people who got on Buydesk or Bybit or not Bybit, Buydesk.
Buydesk. Yeah,
Buydesk. Buying it for
Buydesk.
1 Satoshi.
One
fucking Satoshi, dude. I didn't understand.
That's
that.
right. And it went away too, man. It went away. It actually dropped below 1 Satoshi. And then it went into we just went into the ETH pairing. And that's when a certain YouTuber that had to go and fund the project and make his 2.5x and exit scam did such a great job. And I'm glad to say I got some of that stack.
Yeah.
Who here? Go ahead.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
There's a funny video of him. I ain't gonna say who it is, but him shilling his project, and he's basically spending half the video defending Hex.
He's shilling the project to people that don't like Hex to begin with, and then at the very end, they're like, "Wait, this kind of just sounds like a ripoff of Hex. Did you just come here to shill your project?" And he was
Who here had some really big referrals? I had a huge one on day 20.
I ain't showing you guys my account.
Yeah, I got lucky early on with referrals, but they really tapered off after the. They aren't too many.
I actually got a few, but not too many.
I still have some that didn't. I got 92,000. That was probably my best.
That's pretty good.
Dude, I'm glad I toned down my day one buy, dude. I was like literally gonna buy a lot of ETH, and I was like, wait, no, chill. Let's.
Wish I did.
Really? Oh damn!
Everyone's in the green now.
Yeah.
In the black.
Yeah.
Day one was probably my worst day.
Where are we at right now? Where are we at right now?
We got 111 days left.
No. As far as what's price today?
Oh, like
6 or 6.58, something like that. It's interesting how much liquidity has been added recently too. I mean, liquidity's really climbed on B1 and B2.
Oh, let me check that out.
It was like 30 million or something.
I'm curious to see what smoke flies around Big Payday, but I mean, I think I almost want to look at it like after the fact, because you got to kind of take the emotion out of it, because it's going to be wacky and people are going to do stupid things, but it's almost like I don't even want to look. That's just kind of how I feel about it, because it doesn't matter, because I'm not selling this year anyway. So. What's you don't want to be trying to compete to sell the bottom, right?
Well, my debate is: do you keep cash out so you can scoop up what foolish people throw away? You're like, oh man, I should buy it from you because it's dropped. If it dropped, but then the other side of me says, no, you should already be staked with that cash. Why would you have cash?
Why risk it?
Yeah. Hex is half a penny.
Well, hold out.
We're at 5.
Yeah, 53% of a penny.
0.005.
Yeah.
Nice. What a nice fucking pump, man. What a nice pump.
All right, let's hold off too much on the Big Payday discussion, because that'll be the finale. But I guess another just quick fun one. Least favorite Richard live stream, just real quick.
When he's talking to the girl. She's cute and everything, but that never really sold me much. I was like, I'm like a details guy. I was like, I can see girls on any other channel. I don't need the girl side.
Oh man, I like that one.
I was totally okay with that one. It had my attention. I think I've watched it 3 times.
My least favorite, I mean, it's got to be Peter McCormick, man. Maybe the second one. Where
That was
Yeah, man.
popcorn, bro. That was popcorn.
The first one I enjoyed because it made Peter look terrible. The second one, I was just like, man, this is rough.
Yeah.
I mean, it made me hate
Peter actually lost viewership for a while on this podcast because of that. People actually were like, Peter, bro, dude, you looked so bad on that, man.
He did. It was awful.
Yeah,
it hurt to watch.
Oh,
and
how
I-
can he be a journalist and not do any journalism?
And wasn't it a week or two later that one of his sponsors got caught stealing $300 million? It was like, wait, you're calling HEX the scam, but you're promoting the thing that took $300 million from your viewers?
Wow.
Right.
Yeah.
I didn't even know.
What was
Yeah.
so hard was him saying so many things that were saying, I'm a fool, I don't understand how this works, I don't understand how Bitcoin works, whatever. He was saying, I'm a technical guy, and over, on his interviews even, but relatable because I know nothing. But then he was like so much just throwing sand at Richard. It was just, he lost all of his integrity on one side of the fence of being ignorant or on the other side of being, knowledgeable.
I unfollowed him. I didn't want anything to do with him after that.
Yeah.
We have a guy in Dlive that's for Dude HEX says first McCormick is what got me into HEX. Shock value. So thank you, Peter, for bringing at least one more Hexagon to us.
Yeah, I've heard
Right
that from
on.
people, actually. I heard a couple people said that.
I like
My
the second interview where his buddy Giacomo set him up, and it was all planned because
like the hijack,
he was making a facetious. Oh yeah, I agree with you. I'm going to make a coin that's better than yours. Look, what if I do that, dude? And he spent all that time and effort. And he built a full website and everything to try to razz all that effort just to troll was just fascinating, and then they get owned.
He even admitted defeat during the stream. He was like, this ain't working. That's the way it was really like. He was like, I did all this for nothing. It's not really working here.
Yeah.
And then he said, go ahead, Peter, have at it, Peter. And that's what
my favorite thing right now is that there's more volume on V2 now, and the liquidity's moving over to V2. So it's going to be harder for those assholes to ignore us, especially when they're retweeting posts of like, look at the top coins on, Uniswap, because like Uniswap right now is 54% of all the decentralized DEX volume on the planet right now.
Yeah.
So like when you start seeing those top 10 lists, it's insane. It's like you'll see HEX everywhere now.
It's almost 5 million liquidity. I think that's across both.
Slowly we'll get more and more on Uniswap, on V2 and stuff, and then eventually, like I've been hearing rumblings about V3 that there might be a native token for Uniswap, which is kind of funny because I thought it was going to be like it was supposed to be like a non-profit or whatever.
But they raised a bunch of VC money, so now they got to find a way to make that money.
They need a return on that money now.
Yeah.
My favorite interview, guys, was the last question was Simon Dixon. I'm a big fan of Simon Dixon, so I don't mind watching something.
Randy.
Dude,
Yeah.
I still have some of his ICO coin though. I'm kind of pissed off at his own project. I was like, oh! From 2000.
He is so invested in everything in crypto, man. Like Jesus. Like he even did the seed round, the A round for Celsius, which was the biggest Tether round of all time. Like Tether invested more into Celsius than any other company of all time that they've ever invested in, which is pretty fucking crazy. And Simon Dixon,
he's running their shares, the ownership for Celsius through their Bank to the Future too.
Yeah, which is crazy. They've already raised $30 million, 10 million from us, 10 million from Tether, and then the 20 million from regular users. But that's a project I'm actually pushing to get HEX on actually in the background.
What is it? You want to get somebody on? You want to get HEX working with Celsius?
Yeah, to get loans.
I could help you out with that. I'm friends with Jason Green. One of my clients is Big Green, and Jason Green is really big with KeyFi, which is a security and the coding in the back end for Celsius. Yeah. And his partner on that is Cindy Zimmerman. I don't know if you guys know who Cindy Zimmerman is. She's an amazing coder and security person, and she's working on Celsius right now through KeyFi. So we could probably get that set up. If there's a certain thing you want to say to them, I can put that together.
Make sure you get some numbers about volume and maybe traffic to the website and just statistics to show them how much business is going to get them, and then it'll sell itself probably.
Yeah. Because why I like Celsius is because it gives people options to actually be able to borrow on their crypto instead of selling it. You can borrow on your crypto, and that's how you stay rich, is borrowing on your assets. And then as your assets appreciate, instead of it costing, let's just say like you take a 25% LTV loan, which is like, let's just say you have $10,000 of HEX. You borrow 25% of the value, and then like HEX goes up such a certain amount that like it cost you 5% of the total value of your HEX to get out of the loan. So it's a really good system, and it's really good for taxes as well, especially if you're in the U.S. If you're still stuck in taxes.
If you guys meet up with each other.
Before we get to that question, I want to say the Richard Hart, the stream that Richard Hart was on that was probably my favorite is when he crashed RG's show because we were talking. He's like, nope, that's it, you guys. I'm coming in here. And you know what's funny? Because we were talking to him, right? And he immediately comes in with his guard up. He's like, I've been attacked all day. He's ready to fight us. And it's like, no, dude. No, it's like, this is like friendly here.
Yeah.
We're not here.
RG had to set him straight. This is friendly here. You're not going to get friendly fire from us.
I felt attacked when I interviewed Richard, like really early on and stuff. I was like, Richard, I'm your friend. Why are you coming after me? Why are you making me look bad? I is not enemy.
Yeah, he was jacking you, bro.
It was like 5 minutes of shitting on Litecoin Day.
Yeah, but I didn't see it that way. Like I didn't see him shitting at you.
Wait until you get an interview
that's what
with
he thinks.
Like, wait until you get an interview with him and you're in that hot seat. You're like, whoa.
Yeah.
Yeah, you feel like,
yeah,
holy
you're right.
shit. Like me and him got along on everything. Like I wanted him to have kids, man. Like, dude, make more of you, dude. Fuck yeah. Have 5 of you. I want 10 fucking Richard Harts out here. That'd be awesome. I'm so pro hexers having kids, man. It's ridiculous, man.
I just want my kids out of school.
Let's outbreed these motherfuckers. even
That's
our
a new
genes,
strategy.
even our genes fucking make more than you fuckers.
Oh, God.
All right, looks like it's going to be some time. Let's do a round table. What do you think? We'll go start with Cabana and then maybe go to Coffee and go in a circle.
Yeah, speculation time. Read it right there. What's your prediction for tomorrow's announcement? I believe it's tomorrow. I'm going to go with, maybe my heart and some margin trading, just because I would love to see some people just absolutely get obliterated that think that they can
I agree.
treat this like a normal crypto, and it would just be outstanding if they had an opportunity to do what they want to do for a minute. So, how about you, Coffee?
Yeah, I mean, I know everyone's going to say probably the same shit, so I'm going to go out on a limb and say Peter McCormick publicly admits to buying HEX early on. I would like to see that.
I am going to say Coinbase. We're on Coinbase tomorrow.
Bro.
Binance.
I hope KuCoin, dude. I love KuCoin as an exchange. It's really nice. No KYC.
I like it a lot too.
It's very
I love
exchange.
KuCoin. Used to use that a lot back in the day when I actually traded. Now I don't.
Mm-hmm.
Well, it's good to convert your Bitcoin into Ethereum to buy HEX with.
That's right.
That's the only purpose.
That's right.
Yeah, the trading fees are pretty low too and stuff, and it's really quick, man. I really like that exchange, but
yeah, the withdrawals
hopefully
are withdrawal is boom, boom, boom.
It's quick as fuck, man. Yeah, and I feel like KuCoin and HIT BTC are probably going to be the two exchanges that actually claim their BTC. That's what I feel.
HIT
But
BTC.
HIT BTC.
I know, but
One
like
of the big exchanges
HIT
has like
BTC
32 million
and
hacks
Huobi.
or 32 billion hacks.
I'm sorry.
One of the exchanges has like 32 billion hacks. It's the large one, like HEX, HBTC. I think it does. You check their liquidity.
Yeah.
think I got some feedback or somebody's typing or something. If they could mute.
I don't know if it's the water bottle or something.
Cool.
Yeah, I'm hearing that too.
Yeah, Huobi. I think Huobi. If I had to pick exchanges, it's probably gonna be Huobi, KuCoin, and HitBTC that claim. Those are gonna be the exchanges. So God bless them, man. You know, Saint Hex Jesus. Padre Hijo Espíritu Santo, amen. May their gains be long and hard.
I don't know if the prediction's going to be. It's going to be a little bit of a delay. I don't think it's actually going to happen tomorrow. I'm going to push on what it might be. I don't think an exchange is going to be very exciting, even if it was KuCoin or even if it was Binance. I don't think that would be ridiculous. The margin trading is interesting, but I don't know that there's that many people short it, actively looking to short it. Do you think that there's that many people that are seeking to short it, even if they're hateful?
No, but it's nice to have the option to, you know.
I don't know. This message I've seen from Richard about having a better life is about not letting people wreck themselves. So even though you might not like the haters that are against X, I think it's a little bit against his current character, in my opinion. But we'll see. I don't have a prediction, really.
All right, I think tomorrow they're going to announce that BitMEX is listing a future for HEX.
Fuck, bro. That would be crazy.
That'd be fucking awesome.
Dude. Oh my God, man. Is Hex still on Bitcoin.com?
Yes.
Yeah? Okay,
But
good.
nobody
Yeah,
trades
because I bought some on Bitcoin.com a long time ago when they first listed. But I wasn't sure because I heard some FUD or something that they weren't listed anymore, so I wasn't sure.
There's no BTC pair. It's only ETH and Bitcoin Cash.
Got it.
So there's no BTC pair. You have to go to BuyDesk for the BTC pair.
I would really like to see this Bitcoin Cash gifting thing. Is anybody that's a developer that can help look at that? Obviously Kyle and other people in Firebond, they're super busy with stuff, but I think I talked about it the other day, and it was Roger Veer's Bitcoin Cash coupon that on one side you could have like a QR code, talk about HEX, whatever it is you want as far as your promo of getting your HEX.
Yeah.
But on the other side could be your tip for the waitress or for the person that helps you or basically a leave behind. And the difference is if that tip gets thrown into the trash because they didn't know it was money, then it just goes in the trash. But 2 weeks later, it comes back to your wallet. So it's completely different than typical tipping systems.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Dude, I hope the average Mexican has 10 kids.
RG's got to make his prediction here.
You got to plug back
Tomorrow's
in.
big announcement.
So here's the announcement. Richard Hart is Satoshi. Bitcoin was a scam to onboard people to HEX.
Fucking epic.
I wrote that down as fact.
So I don't think it's as big as you guys think because I already know there's something in process because I caught some links to it. There, you already saw the taxis, right? Well, there's also a big bus. So I think that's going to be coming out. So I don't know that it's going to be something crazy like what you guys are thinking. I think it might just be the bus. However, the cabs were not announced in advance. So they just kind of happened. And so did the game. The game just kind of happened. So there is a chance that might not be that big of news and that might just happen and there might be something else.
Well, the Cointelegraph article is maybe they published it early. Who knows?
I mean, I thought the bus already came out, so I don't know.
Yeah.
Maybe EA Games is going to do a HEX giveaway for everyone there.
Haven't seen the bus yet.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's on Twitter.
Oh, is it?
Yeah.
Joe Rogan interview with Richard Hart. How about that?
Oh, that's
nice.
what we need. That's the real world audience right there.
Yep.
Richard on 60 Minutes. There we go.
I think Richard negotiated us to be the in-game currency for Clash of Clans.
That would be nice.
Oh yeah.
All right, one last fun one before we get into the big payday discussion. This is just kind of personal curiosity. Like when you talk about, or you think about, a lot of us don't even talk about like what hex stacks we have or whatever. But when you do it in your head, do you do it calculating the normal interest that you earn with big payday in mind? Or are you constantly looking at that figure, or is it just kind of like your principal and be like, okay, I got this many hex, and wake up like big payday and be like, oh, okay, now I got this? Like, how do you guys look at it? For me personally, I'll just say like, I've just got like a spreadsheet with my principal and normal interest. I haven't even calculated big payday in my head because I love surprises, and big payday is going to be Christmas morning for me. But I have done like the interest and, map that out just to see, those totals. But just curious how you guys say, oh, well, on this level on the fish scale, or this level, anybody want to go for it?
I'm probably a little different than most people. I don't really pay attention to any of that stuff. I like surprises a lot, and if anything, I just know what principal I bought in at. I don't keep track of my interest. I don't keep track of my projections for big payday. I just kind of like to be pleasantly surprised. So I know how much I bought in at, but I have no idea how much it's going to end up being.
Cool. Anybody else?
I did calculate my estimated big payday into my stake ladders, and so mine is all. I don't look at anything pre big payday. I could care less about pre big payday, even the price. So other than when you got a couple extra bucks that I'm throwing in to buy some more, but other than that, everything is all. I'm looking 2-3 years down the road. That's how everything's calculated in my head.
Nice. And the big payday, it still fluctuates. So I guess like coffee, I like surprises, and I don't want to get too excited and be like, oh, well, because there is a lot of play really up until then. And so I don't want to get anything in my head, it's too good. And yeah, exactly. And then, be like, oh, whereas if I don't look at it, then it's nothing but good and stuff I didn't have before. So awesome. Let's roll.
Mm-hmm.
I can't really, I'm going to have a real hard sit down with myself about the ending stake early benefit, because it happens for a pretty significant stake for me before big payday. Mm-hmm. But that means, of course, you give away whatever interest or, so forth as generated, and it's not small. So you say, oh, should I hold and just hope that I'm going to keep that share rate, and then when it end stakes normally restake. So it's kind of like gut wrenching, like in a good way. It's like I got to do it. I got to figure out what I'm going to do. So I just basically am doing the math of the BPD as double, whatever the double would be. I'm trying to just not get too anxious over what I've got to do if I'm going to do an early end stake to keep a share rate.
For sure.
Back to RG because we missed him.
Yeah, no, the same with me. Big payday really doesn't mean a whole lot to me as far as big worrying about the excitement, because all of mine, I've went long term on all my stakes, and I've got one more that I'm going to merge the end stake, and the penalties aren't that bad once you've gone past the 50% mark. It was insignificant. To me anyway, based upon the gains that were realized over the longer pay better. So I'm excited about being able to do that here in another month. I think I got one more stake that I'm going to emergency end stake and then restake. So I'm excited about that. Again, like who said earlier, or a coffee said it. It's like I don't think about it. I don't think about price. I know price is going to go up. I knew we were going to hit half a penny again. And it was just a matter of it was if up or when up, not if up, And so I'm just excited for the future. I mean, we've got a bright future, guys. People who are in year one should be absolutely fucking ecstatic that they're going to be, part of this and a big holder in the future, because not a lot of people that get into HEX are going to be able to say that they were in it from the beginning, that they were, that they caught 600,000 for one ETH days and 800,000 and 1.4 million.
1.8 million on one ETH day.
There's not going to be a lot of people that caught it like that, and it's really a unique situation because it's going to grow, it's going to get bigger. There's going to be mass adoption. We are going to, become a very professional crypto. I think that what I was talking about earlier is the direction that it's going to take, because once Big Payday and all the hype and excitement is over of onboarding and all that, it's going to be a boring ass CD product, but it's going to be an exciting boring ass CD product, if for a better term. But
I don't know how boring.
Well, yeah. It's when you're going to put your crypto away for a year or 2 years or 5 years or 10 years. It's like a CD. I don't know if you guys ever held bonds or CDs before, but they don't fucking do anything, And crypto has been all about excitement and trading and margin and ups and downs and all this other shit, There's going to be a point where this Big Payday kind of ends all of the excitement, not for us, because we're going to be able to, unstake and realize some massive freaking gains. But, HEX big thunder. HEX in and of itself is going to be kind of a boring product at that point. I mean, it's going to be massive when it comes to, you being the bank and you receiving the penalties, and, it'll be exciting at that point, but you're still talking, 1, 3, 5 year stakes,
Yeah, I agree.
Right. For me, I'm just, the interview, like RG's brought on, RG3's brought on Kyle a couple times, and Kyle said probably your worst case scenario, like we had up there a second ago, is that you're going to double. So all I do is I take my principal, I double it, and I put it in my Blockfolio for those endorsement hits. I like to refresh my Blockfolio a couple times a day. And so that's all I do. I don't ever worry about my interest. It just keeps growing, but I don't focus on it at all.
Yeah. I really do push probably only taking profits on 50% of your interest and staking principal plus 50% of your interest. I think a lot of people are probably going to be sad later on when they're selling all their interest and just keeping their principal, where they should at least keep 50 to 80% of their interest and restaking it, because it really adds up over time. I don't know. What do you guys feel about that?
I agree. I mean, good texture talk about, always having stakes that are coming out at the 50% mark so that you always have options. But then each day that you, at the end of the day, say, well, I didn't end it today because I didn't need that money. If you have some kind of gaming kind of addiction and the excitement is necessary and things like that, you always have, you can always roll that into something that you want to speculate in, start a new business, start a new idea, do something that makes your life exciting more than being an employee. I don't think people should be employees anymore. I think they should look at doing other things. And there's never been a better opportunity than right now to be an entrepreneur, whether that's HEX as part of it or not part of it. But yeah, as far as the interest, 50%, let it compound, let it continue to grow is my approach. I would look at it the same way. If I need capital, there's dollars everywhere. Everywhere there are dollars. You have access to finance. You are in the Western world. If you need money to start an idea, get a business going, something like that, I can help. There's a lot of people who help. Money is not scarce. But HEX definitely is, and shares definitely will be. So I don't even look at really the ROI as far as the dollar amount at this moment.
I mean, you provide a really good service with teaching people about credit, especially business credit. I mean, that was pretty eye-opening when you started talking about that.
Appreciate it.
Yeah. Because I feel like a lot of people are, to tell you the truth, I feel like people are really going to restake only 50% of their principal and spend their principal plus 100% of their interest. And they're really going to be kicking themselves because they're going to be behind the 8 ball when it comes to this. Because once those, I feel like a lot of people are too overly staked for year 1 and 2. And they need to start looking to 3 to 15 year stakes. Any OGs really staked, laddered staked from 1 to 15. And any stake after year 5 is going to be ridiculous, especially like forget whatever the big payday bonus is. It's the emergency end stakes that really matter. And I feel like people aren't truly understanding how much bonus that is. I know half of it goes to the OA, but the other half ends up going to the stakers. And right now with such little amount of stakers, it's a lot of HEX. I mean, if you look at the current interest rate on HEX, it's like 3.69, I think, or 6.5. After 10 years, you're talking about 50% inflation rate. And because most of that inflation rate, at least half of it gets only like the realized interest rate that gets realized by stakers, I think, is going to be 25%. So you're talking about 75% of that interest given to the people who actually end stake. So that's a lot of that interest. So you're talking about somewhere close to 35 to 40% of all the interest of the current. Let's just say the current supply of HEX is 700 billion. So you're talking about maybe like, I don't know, 300 billion HEX being given to the.
There's a lot of speculation going on here.
I know there's no expectations, but just look at the number. All you got to do is like just 80-20 everything. I mean, this is like, it's almost like a fucking like God-given rule about the world.
Right as well.
And 80% of the interest is going to be given to the people who actually have these strong hands and are able to end stake, not emergency end stake. So even if the price is down, if you end stake how you're supposed to and restake, you will own so much more of the percentage of the HEX total. And it's pretty sickening if you think about it. I don't know. What do you guys think?
Your shares matter, and that is what is going to become very clear to everybody on Big Payday. I think, from my standpoint, I'm not counting Big Payday. I'm looking at this as a long game, because really what it comes down to is you're expecting to do the opposite of what normal human behavior is, and you're going to be rewarded for it. When people see the price pump up to 3 cents, people are going to emergency on stake, and it would be so easy to take a small loss to emergency on stake and sell for that money. But then you look at the long spiel of things, and you're like, you don't want to be selling when everybody else is selling. That's the last damn time you want to be selling. If anything, you want to be buying those mistakes. So I don't even really care about price for the next year. I don't even want to look at price until the next year, because this is going to be an event. It's going to be a blip on the map when it's all said and done. Mm-hmm. And getting your position now and planning for the future is how that's going to work. And this is a long game, and that's what people are not understanding. They're like, win dump. That's not the game. It's a different game. We're playing a different game now. And you have to be – it's more like a game of chicken, okay? You're hoping other people get out before you, and you're just trying to hold on, and you're building your position. So then you're not going to be able to out-trade the amount of interest you can make based on the natural human behavior of that inability to delay gratification. So if you don't need it, don't use it. Just let it ride. I mean, if you need to take out your initial investment, that would be wise, because then no matter what happens, you're not going to lose, right? So once you're able to do that, then you're not really so worried about it. If you don't need it, don't use it.
I think most of the penalties, like just to go on Cabana Crypto's question here, is that let's just say after Big Payday, let's just say there is a little bit of a drawdown, right? During that point, there's going to be a large amount of the stake of the liquid HEX being staked. I think we're probably going to hit maybe, I don't know, 40% staked, 60% liquid. And what some people are probably going to do is, when the price starts really appreciating, is that they're going to unstake that HEX and take huge penalties. So the amount of turbulence that's going to happen 1 to 2 years after BPD is going to be insane. So anyone staked during that time that ends up actually end staking will receive a tremendous amount of HEX. I mean, literally a tremendous amount of HEX, because I feel like the real volatility in HEX is going to be in the last two months before BPD and the 2 months after BPD. And I mean, I don't know how you guys feel about that.
If you unstake after big payday, you're nuking your stack. If you got a 7-year stake and you unstake after big payday, you're nuking your stack and you're giving it to the stakers. And people are going to do that because they're not understanding that return on investment, once you have that big payday calculated in there, it's a percentage of that's going to get jacked. So, yeah. I mean, the game is, if you're going to emergency unstake, RG's right. Now's the time to set your positions and push them farther out if you're going to do them. Anytime after big payday, don't do it. Don't do it. It's going to hurt bad. Don't stake it if you can't. If just do what you say. It's that simple. That's the game. Do what you say, and you'll be good.
Yeah, guys. For example, I have a stake. It comes out on day 600, and it's actually my largest stake. Right. And so I'm over here like, oh shit. What do I do?
Now let's look up who's got his largest stake on day 600. Yeah.
That's my largest, you know?
Yeah. I mean, I personally have about 30% of my entire stack staked between year 1, 1.5, and 2 year. The rest of it is evenly staked up to 15 because I mean, I couldn't time the top of the market. I don't know.
It's very smart. That's exactly what Kyle had said in one of his streams, his longer streams, was, you should stake. You can get all the mumbo jumbo math about it and stuff like that, and about the speculative side of what might happen. But just stake based on what you want coming out in a certain ladder.
Right.
And, then you always have the ability to roll the dice again by restaking what's coming out or cashing in. So having where you're not, when you're in a desert, a drop of piss is probably, wetting your lips. But I've got to do it. But when you're, same thing with a cracker. If you're starving, don't make yourself starving. Just make yourself have ladders, have those ladders, and say, and you can always on Twitter say, hey, I got the top. I totally sold at the top because you did.
Yeah.
You had a ladder. Hey, I got to ride through that bottom because you did. You had a ladder and you restaked it.
The real importance in HEX is buying the bottom, because even Richard himself says that even HEX will correct 80% down on the downturns. Right? I honestly think HEX is going to perform a lot better than the average altcoin. Like the average altcoin goes down 95%. I think we'll do 80, maybe 70, to tell you the truth. So buying those downturns are really the only chance you're going to get to really increase your stack, and then from there staking it. Because
if you don't already have it.
Of course, yeah.
50% drop is about it. I don't think it's going to bounce like other altcoins. But he's preparing us.
This is the reason why I advocate that you should be an entrepreneur and you should be a business person. You know that you can sell your commodity, your service, your product for whatever price you want to set it at. If you're doing that in dollar and dollar loses value, you always increase your price point and you can always charge more dollars. If you're charging in crypto, if you're saying, hey, for this service, I'm going to walk you through, I'm going to teach you how to repair, a transmission on a car. You can charge more HEX, right? So you can ride through these 80% dips, 70% dip, 30% dip. You can ride through things if you are in charge of the rate you're being paid in. And you can only do that when you're a business person. You really can't do that as an employee. You can't do that when you're working in a hospital. You can't work, any kind of employer can decide what your rate is and how much competition there is to take your job. But if you specialize, if you learn something, you can teach others and you can charge for that.
I totally agree. As a
former, buy a giant dragon. Only yours for 1.5 X.
Nice. I don't know if you know, but I'm also a corpsman, and I was a nurse and did all that stuff. I worked all my. Yeah, I know. I've heard you in one of your other streams, and I did that for years. If I wanted extra money, I had to work overtime. I was that nurse that worked 80 hours a week and made a killing, and I made a shit ton of money. Yeah. I was one of those, and every other nurse hated me. But in order for me to work all that, I took a toll on my physical health.
Yep.
So now I have something like, I have my business. We do social media marketing for companies, and every year we increase our rates about 10 to 15%. So I'm never hurting. We're always, it just every year we just increase it, and they're like, okay, that's just part of doing business, right? And now HEX, Now I get to take some of that money, that extra money that we make, we buy HEX, and we stake it out all these years. I don't even need it. Forget about it. It doesn't exist.
Right.
Yeah.
And you could do that as an entrepreneur. And I think everyone who is looking, what COVID's taught us, all this stuff that's going on, is that people who are entrepreneurs, online entrepreneurs,
Rise.
digital nomads, whatever you want to call us,
running small
Are
businesses.
winning right now. Winning.
And I'm telling you, everyone I know that's doing it, they're like, thank God I changed that. I went and did that.
Shout out to Ash. Shout out to all my sharks.
Some of the most successful businesses start in the middle of crashes or middle of bears, middle of terrible times. You look at the Great Depression, you look at more recently, and it's because you're hardened and you're hungry, and if you have that in your persona, you can do it. You have other people to help you.
Yeah.
Yep.
Actual salary statement when it expires. There's no longer an option liquidity on day 600. Cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, I thought about that, just leaving it and just staking everything out once it comes out.
You can. I mean, it just depends because like I've seen a lot of people right now. They're doing like one stake every quarter, one stake a month. But if you're doing a lot more, like a little bit more stakes, like probably my average is going to be once every 2 weeks. That's my stakes after year 2. Like you can afford to actually do that. Like maybe one stake you do all of it, and the other half you actually take out. So you got 1 foot in, 1 foot out. And those any stake after year 6 is so fucking gigantic because of the interest, because of people and emergency unstaking. That interest gets rolled out to the future. So the interest really gets rolled out. So it sort of becomes more like a pyramid almost, like where the people who can actually have these really strong hands to end stake really get all the interest. And all the interest after 10 years equals up about 50% of the total supply of HEX. If you look at the total supply. So that's a lot. That's billions. I mean, we're talking about maybe 300 billion HEX being given about 1,000 people.
There's going to be such a huge percentage of anyone stake past 5 years stopping at 2.5 at 50% if the price appreciation is great enough in USD value, that there's going to be a lot of people with shares, huge amounts of shares before big payday that are going to be awarded these emergency end stakes, guaranteed.
Yeah.
Guaranteed.
Yeah. Go back one question, Cabana. Go back one question. You had that one.
Which one you want, man?
Somebody posted that. Did you see that one? They said that you could stake after big payday.
I think it was day 43 OG.
Option to sell or restake when it expires. No, it wasn't that one. 24 hours to shares is not that big. It's not financial advice. If the price is no good, simply no, it wasn't that one. Restake. Okay, here we go. So the beautiful thing for early pre-big payday stakes is that you can let it mature and restake again with relatively small penalty to shares. Earnings will compensate for the share rate change. As long as you're talking about emergency end staking after the 50% mark, after it's gone 50%, not waiting until not waiting until after big payday. But like okay, it says pre-big payday. I thought it was after big payday. My bad. Because if it's after big payday, forget about it. The share rate is going to be wrecked by then.
Yeah, at least a 3x in the share rate. So like, let's just say the share rate right now is like 1.1 or 1.2. It's going to be like 3 point something.
Well, I apologize, gentlemen, but I'm going to get going.
All good stuff.
Hey, later connects, man. I like The Office, man.
Thanks, man. This is my old school lawyer office, bro. This used to be an old title company, and it's back in the 70s. They put in the faux pony wall with the orange freaking Ron Burgundy faux plastic windows, man. So
that looks good.
Hey, thanks, guys.
Shit.
Well, thanks for coming by, man. We just got a few more big payday questions to go through, but yeah.
Well, I appreciate you guys.
Thanks so much.
I gotta get going. I gotta wake up at 5 a.m. to go work out, and I got a guy that's been texting me back and forth, can't get his MetaMask to exit out of the contract, and I want my referral pay, so I'm going. We'll see you guys.
Right. Cheers.
Attaboy.
Get that head, man.
I gotta roll. I'll catch up with you guys. I got to get up at 3 and get on a plane, so I will catch up.
Oh,
It's good to be back in the
hey.
Hey, later, Captain, man.
Thanks for coming.
Later, man.
Bye, RG.
Good to see
All
you.
right, guys. Later.
And then there was 5.
And there was 5. All
I
right,
like the
so
Moses go all night. I know that much.
yeah, so I know Moses and I talked about this a few times because I swear, like one of his early streams, he said 50 billion in penalties around big payday, and I think I found it. It was like I don't even know, months and months ago. But anyway, so I think we're like just short of 700 million in penalties right now. Where do you see that at big payday? I'll just throw out a number. I think we can, with a bunch of FOMO and game playing, I think we can at least get to 2-3 billion. But are you still way above that, or what do you think?
I am way above that. I'm talking about 25x in penalties.
Well, it depends if you mean right before or right after.
Right before. Well, a lot of this has to do with the price of HEX, obviously, because of the FOMO. But I'm thinking that you give or take maybe 2 weeks after big payday or so, or you're going to see a lot of people like really emerging and staking because they don't. It takes a while to really understand the HEX system.
Right.
I really do think it takes a month of watching videos and understanding and watching to understand how shares work. Because first you come into the ecosystem thinking like HEX. Like, how does HEX work? Oh, that's cool. So I get more HEX, after that. And eventually you figured out, like, oh, shit, HEX shares is what really matters.
Yeah. I mean, so there's a lot of noobs, too, that this is basically their thought process, right? It's they just heard about HEX. They heard about this concept called big payday. There's a lot of buzz. Oh, how do I get big payday? All they hear is big payday. I want some of that action. So they stake, and they say, oh, I got to be staking for big payday. So they stake until right after big payday, because in their mind, they're just going to be like, okay, I just want the big payday, and then I'll unstake, easy. I'll game the system, because they're not going to look into it. They're going to think that they're gaming the system. So a lot of people are going to stake for 1 or 2 days right around big payday and then stake after.
Yeah, I see that too. A ton of people may be just planning on it for that.
Yeah, they're not going to realize how complicated the system is.
And I think there's going to be kind of what you're saying there is like learning on the job and people not realizing the possible impact of the share rate. And it could very well sneak up on some people who haven't really paid attention to that math. And that could feed into Litecoin Moses' prediction of that penalty rank just blowing way up.
Well, it's really interesting because it's not, everything that anybody had any crypto history, they've heard the stories of the guy that sold their Bitcoin for pizza, or they sold their Bitcoin for $30, or they sold it for $100, or whatever. But kind of like NFTs or non-fungible, your share rate is locked in a way. Basically that is altering your stack constantly, right? Your stake. So, yeah, I think it's complex, and it's purposely complex. It's purposely complex, but I think that the people that have been hearing it, seeing it on billboards, buying, maybe buying, getting onboarded even today. This dentist, I don't know if she's gonna hold on to it forever, but I just walked away with her having it, and she had a profit, and so maybe she cashes it out. But does she buy back in later and understand what share rates are and things like that? I gave a 5-minute pitch about what it is. She has to do that work. She has to do that learning. So I don't know how many people are going to do it. I think that there is a long tail reason to get involved with HEX for decades, for the future. So I don't want to feel like we put too much out there saying, you missed out, you should have unstaked, you lost, didn't you just blow your stack, you just nuked it. I mean, kind of that language is great for us, but also it can be one of the people that they hear all the time that they missed out. And why would I get involved now? I missed out. Big payday was last year. Why would I do it now? So I want to be careful about how that narrative gets out there, because there's always the potential of ROI. And if the house that I buy for a certain amount of dollars, someone else bought it 50 years ago for 1/20th of that price, I can still make money. I can still make money off of so I want to be careful about that narrative.
I mean, when I'm talking about the gains made on later stakes, like any stake after year 3, What I'm talking about is basically for OGers, anybody that's in here right now, pre-big payday, that's who I'm talking to right now. I mean, obviously, I'm going to change the narrative a little bit once we get past big payday, because we're like, I've been saying for a while, we're really going to get the FOMO on day 90, but the closer we get to 30 days out, that's when it just goes full parabolic, because people are procrastinators. They're going to be like, oh yeah, Hex, I remember that. Oh yeah, let me buy a bunch. Let me stake. Because
we're going to help them.
Yeah, we're gonna help them, exactly. We really are gonna help them, but people don't understand how, even with Kyle and Firebun, who've been saying on the 10-year stakes how it's an ADX and good texture. That's ADX based on not emergency unstakes, on just end stakes and the penalty and just what it is, right? That's not really counting the end stakes and how much hex that is, because each person that emergency unstakes, this 75% of their interest gets passed along to the next person, which then emergency unstakes as well. So you're really talking about of the 20% of the total population of the hex holders so 80% of the hex stakers end up passing along 75% of their stake on to the next person. So you're talking about when it gets along in years, those 80x in terms of your principal could really be almost damn near 800 or 1000x of your principal. So that's the kind. I know that sounds crazy, but I really do believe that there's only going to be about maybe 100 or 200 people that really make it to the year one 15-year stakes, which are basically OGers. You're only talking about 100 people tops that actually make it to 100 years. I mean to a 15 years. I'm sorry, and that you're talking about like 1,000x on your money, on your principal, maybe a little bit more. But I mean that's really the main. So you're talking about almost damn near 35% of the total supply of hex being distributed to 100 people.
That's crazy. Half years to hit the halfway mark, and like you said, holding after you have the 50% mark is hard. It's going to be harder. It's going to be harder. So hard. I mean, I do like the texture strategy of like making a 50% stake. So like if you have a 555, making 2888, and then dividing that by 2, so that way you never actually emergency end stake, which I think is a really smart strategy, because the real enemy here is FOMO and FUD.
Let me tell you, I thought of something about these. This is going to go for the people that are maybe new to crypto and they're not used to hodling or doing what we've been doing for years. You got these folks that came in, maybe they came in on day 43 and they put in 2 ETH or we'll just go with 1 ETH. So they spent $120 or $130, whatever ETH was at that time, right? And whatever the price is. Well, it went up all that percentage, so now they got 10 grand. Right, this current time they have 10 grand. What do you think these kids are going to do, or these people that don't have any patience are going to do? Or maybe they're struggling because they're not working right now. They're going to sell their hex. They're not going to stake it. I mean, if I was in a hard situation and I needed the money, I would do the same. I've got a family. I would sell my hex. 10 grand out of a $200 investment or whatever it was back on day 43. Hell yeah. That's glorious, man. I'm out. I'm going to go pay bills. So I think that's going to happen a lot. And the unstake incentive is going to be huge, especially when the price starts going up. If we hit 3 cents or 2 cents, or my God, these people who got in for fractions of a penny are like, dude, I just 10x my money. I just 20x my money. They're going to take it because they've never done this before. They've never had it before. Where's the only other place you could do something like that? Putting in a quarter in a slot machine.
You feel great to get 20% on your real estate. You feel, amazing, like you did a home run in a business if you sold for, double your money into it and time into it.
Yeah, absolutely.
And it's the stronger hands that are gonna. Yeah, it comes down to how strong your hands are, and what if kind of like the opposite is true, to where you're settled and you're good for 3-4 years, and you're seeing these penalties come in. Does that embolden you, or do there's so much at play? You start sliding off a little bit, you know what I mean? So it's really interesting.
That's why you have the ladders, I guess, right?
Yep.
business too. Do other things with your time.
Right.
Yeah. I mean, I the only thing that fears me about ladders is that it becomes sort of a it becomes sort of like you can trick yourself into thinking like, well, yeah, I mean, I have a 5-year stake that'll give me all, because it's true, because any stake after 5 years will pretty much get you back all your principal, even if you have 10% staked in the 5-year, right? Or 8% or whatever that is, if you're staking from 1 to 15. It gets a little I don't know, it sort of depends on the person really, but like those 5 and 6 year stakes will pretty much get you back your principal. And it just pretty much means, do you want to keep consistent of what your total stack is right now, or do you actually want to gain on that as the hex inflation rate? Because like with a 3.6, you're literally looking at about maybe 40 to 50% increase in the hex total supply. So if we're talking about 700 million or 700 billion hex, you're talking about at least half 350 billion hex in inflation. So you're talking over a billion hex, maybe 1.1 or 1.2 billion hex total, trillion hex total. And it just depends whether you want to just keep the constant amount you have right now or gain on that. That's sort of your gameplay, basically. But it's sort of weird where it doesn't matter as long as you don't end stake the 7 to 15 years. It doesn't even matter because you're gonna be gaining so much. It's so crazy. I mean, dude, like the math on it is so insane. It's just being not being a dumbass and not emergency unstaking the later stakes, and you're just golden.
There's going to be a certain percentage also that's nutrition. People that forgot, they locked out.
Yes. Yep.
Oh, yeah.
They lose keys.
Divorce. They took their shit. Whatever. There's going to be a lot of people that actually bleed out, whether they wanted to or not. And
set up those calendars.
Yeah.
Yep.
I think there was one question that I've had continually, and I had an answer this week on Twitter, was what happens with our BPD coins? And apparently they go into our interest column after BPD. They don't earn anything extra. Does that make sense to everybody? Our BPD coins go into the interest column after BPD.
Yeah, they're not in our principal because that would dilute the supply. I mean, they're part of what's essentially burned coins that you'll get back eventually.
Okay, great.
Yeah.
Because that confused me for months. I'd never got an answer I liked, and finally someone replied with it.
Kyle and Firebun are probably the two best people to ask about that, especially Kyle, since he pretty much designed the game theory on staking.
Yeah, they definitely don't come liquid, so that's a misconception that nobody in here probably thinks that, but some people might think they become liquid, but no.
I thought they actually went into your stakes. That for the longest time, I thought it became part of your stake, and you would earn interest on that as well.
But
it doesn't. It goes into your interest column, apparently.
Yeah. All right.
All right. So moving along with Big Payday, I think I had a question. Of course, I can't find it now. There it is.
What do you think the biggest buy-in will be? Actually, do you think that there's more likelihood that BTC claims can't be OA? They have to be bigger people than buy-ins because of this whole potential of cycling, and I could recycle, anybody could recycle. But when I see like big numbers of buy-ins, I don't know what that is. So the BTC claim seems like it's more. There's only 21 million of them, right? So what do you think the biggest BTC claim will be in the whole time, in the whole span?
Somebody did 1,200, right? Wasn't that the biggest one so far? Was that's the biggest number?
I think the biggest I've seen.
1,200 is the one I remember. I don't know.
10K. It's probably gonna be an exchange wallet, and we're talking about maybe like 10K BTC probably.
Why haven't they done it yet? That's
retardation.
They want to cover their own ass too. They don't know if it's they heard online it was BitConnect too, and they don't want to list another BitConnect.
Or the way Richard or whoever the people in the back set it up. I mean, it's just stake it. I mean, they could dump it if they want, I guess, but because they could, but it's such a good amount right now. I mean, a couple months from now, once we're 30 days out, I mean, it's like 1% that they could have had, maybe 8% total. It's such a small amount for what they originally could have had. I mean, I could understand maybe like the first 3 months they didn't even know what it was, but like it really just seems like mismanagement. And I think a lot of these exchanges are actually going to get in trouble or like kind of get bitched at. Like, why the fuck didn't you guys claim HEX early if you guys knew about it? You know,
because they're lazy. Before with BCH and BSV and all that, it just automatically showed up in their wallets. This one you got to do some work.
And there's so many coins out there, but yeah, it's hard to sift through all the bullshit.
Yeah, they damn sure claim they're Ethereum Classic though, right?
I do think we're going to get a bull run into BPD. I have one stake that's unstaking about 2 weeks before BPD, just because if the price is crazy. This is how I look at it, guys. I'm moving to Prague. For those of you who don't know, we're leaving to Panama. We're moving to Prague. I love that city.
Really?
Yeah, cool. Yeah. We're done with Panama, man. F this place. I mean, I've been under lockdown for 4.5 months, guys.
Oh yeah,
okay.
It's terrible. You know, gain weight, terrible. You know,
Collective up until September, so I'm not going to Colombia for those reasons too.
Yeah, it's terrible. So we're moving to Prague. So my little goal was, you know, this before I really understood HEX. I put one stake just before because I think we're going to have a huge pump. You know, I think maybe we'll get 3, 4, 5 cents. I'll take that stake, I'll sell it, and that'll pay for my first 2 years in Prague. That's what I'm looking forward to. You know, so I don't have to pay for it. I'll pay for my rent. You know, because it's super cheap over there, and take care of everything. So that's
Portugal.
I like Portugal. We've been to Lisbon. We did Steamfest. I think Steamfest 2 was in Portugal, and absolutely loved it. But I cannot stand bacalhau. For those. Anybody know who that is? I can't stand the smell. You go on the streets of Portugal, at Lisbon, you could just smell it everywhere. What is
that? I've been thinking about going to Portugal for a minute.
It's gorgeous. It's salted codfish, and then they have to soak it so the smell gets in the air, and it just like permeates the whole city. I'm just not a big fan. But the nata is good. That's the little custard thingies they have, the custard pie, little tiny custard pies. They call them natas. Oh, they're amazing. But, you know, beautiful city. I just don't like the smell.
Yeah, because I'm planning to do a trip to Japan and then eventually probably Portugal as well afterwards, and then probably like, what do you call it, Puerto Rico afterwards. Because
I think a lot of people asking me questions about these things, about the digital nomad, and there's now digital nomad visas all over the world. So Portugal's one of them. You could probably, I mean, as an American, Puerto Rico might be a great option. I didn't see a lot of here in our community are doing that. Czech Republic, Estonia, Germany. These are all places you can go move to and have $5,000 in the bank, and you could live there legally. And it's absolutely amazing. I don't even want a car anymore, guys. I just want to take public transportation. I just want to live the easy, that kind of lifestyle. So that's why we're doing it. And plus, we have our son. We just want him to experience Europe.
Definitely. I've had so many people tell me I look Portuguese. I don't know why.
Man, I don't know. Who knows?
I don't
know. Like, I have some weird clients and stuff. They've been to Portugal and stuff. They're just like, you look like you're Portuguese. I'm like, what? From where?
Stefsta said he's going this summer. Is he going to Prague or is he coming to Panama? That'd be a good question. I'm going to come here.
Listen, people have been trying to shit that out. Is it's such a hipster town. You know, like any of the main cities of the country, you know, that's sort of like where tourists go, you know, like Guadalajara or Mexico City, same thing, you know.
Oh, that's another one. Mexico's great as well. As you know, Jeff Berwick pumps it all the time. He's like, come move to Mexico, but we just don't really like it.
I feel you. We have property over there and stuff and everything like, but that's different. It's just because we have family ties, you know.
Man, go where money stretches, guys. I mean, Panama's getting so expensive. It's more expensive to live here than it is the U.S. now. So it doesn't make any sense. You know, groceries have gone through the roof. So, you know, I said, you know what, let's go move to Europe where it's dirt cheap.
You know? Wow.
Yeah, especially Greece. Greece is so dirt cheap right now. It's insane, man.
They all are, but except for the Western, France and UK. Those two are expensive, and the northern ones are expensive too. But so I'm sorry we diverged into that little digital nomad thing, but hey, it's a great lifestyle, and you could really it's if you get to the point where you're making a couple $1,000 a month, you could live almost anywhere in the world now.
Yeah.
How much? A couple thousand, $2,000 a month is all you need in most cities now. And
I believe that. Yeah.
Do you have apartments in like Costa Rica or like in Medellin, Colombia? $1,500 to $2,000 a month is a penthouse, bachelor pad, amazing.
Absolutely.
Table. Top.
I live in the old Howard Air Force Base. This is the old Howard in Panama, and we live in beautiful condos facility here. We pay $800 a month, full security, CCTV cameras.
Wow.
It's amazing. And I don't spend $800 a month. To me, that's too much. I want to spend less.
I don't know how to answer this question. The beginning of the stream was 2.5 hours ago. I don't remember what I said. Sorry, man. I know what you're saying. I don't think I know everyone's auto staked for 350 days, so I'm confused as well as you.
All right. Well, let's try to tie a bow on the pre-big payday, because I think we got one more question before we can kind of attempt to wrap. But I guess I'm of the opinion, I think I hope we've bottomed. And now I think the fear starts to kick in, maybe not just yet, but September-ish. I think the reality sets in of how big of an event and a one-time event, and unlike any other, really, big payday is going to be. And if that is marketed correctly, or word gets out, we keep doing what we're doing, it's going to build on itself. It's going to snowball. And I do think, I think we were 0.28 of a penny or something like that. And that could very well be the bottom. Any other opinions on that as to where we go in a big payday?
Yeah. I mean, I've been saying for a while that I really do think like 3.5 cents was probably BPD, but that could be low, to tell you the truth.
I think we were walking into a lot of headwind, or we were pushing into a lot of headwind over the past couple of months. Not just the bear, but just basically people taking people's heads and selling it into buyers. And we don't have that, we just have buyers. Like, you don't see a lot of sales. So I think we are in a bull run, and I do think the very, very beginnings of one. Whether it's across the whole crypto sphere, or if it's only HEX that really, far and above goes beyond others. I don't know how that really plays out, but I'm excited.
Yeah, I think we're in a bull run already. I think it feels that way, just more of a feeling than knowledge, right? I don't know for sure. I don't know if this one's going to look like all the other ones. I think everyone's expecting it to look like all the other ones, or at least the last one, because it's so fresh. And everyone thinks it's going to be kicked off by DeFi. And it probably will be kicked off by DeFi. I just don't know if it's going to look exactly the same. I think when everyone's expecting one thing to happen a certain way, it usually does not. So I just don't know how to but I think we're in one.
All right, I got mine. I think we're going to have a DeFi apocalypse. I think something's going to break in DeFi, and it's going to cause a lot of bad news for DeFi.
Yeah,
and that people are going to look to HEX. And the other thing that I think might happen, and this is very speculative, but I think Bitcoin could have a nice little run over the next couple months. So Bitcoin might start gaining the percentages again against altcoins. That very well could happen. I've seen some people saying that by the end, we'll be back to $20,000 by the end of the year. That could happen, and that might take some of the attention away from HEX. Now, somebody who's in HEX, I kind of like that. Take the attention away. I'm not, like most of us, we are not staked until the day after big payday. The majority of our stake is years out. So I would like it to happen that way, so that we get a bigger chunk of money after big payday. So please, Bitcoin, go to $20,000. Take all the attention off of us. Let us come and swoop in and get all that big payday money.
I know RG3 kind of shits on Bitcoin, but Bitcoin, because it is like 60% of the market cap, when that goes up, it really flushes a shit ton of money into this ecosystem. So, I mean, I see probably 20 to 30K Christmas.
Yeah. Well, when they
I really do.
speculate with that money and they look for higher ROI, it's the same thing that happened with alt season when Bitcoin went up. Was that kind of boomed because other people felt flush with cash.
Yeah,
flush with cash, they were less conservative with that cash and where they put it.
Yeah, my best hit ever was Flashcoin. I don't know if you guys even remember what Flashcoin, or it's still around, but it's a Litecoin fork. And yeah, this is going back. It's 2017. I held my coins the whole year, and I did nothing with them. They just sat there in my little bag. And up until Bitcoin hit 20 grand, it didn't do anything. Then 2 weeks later, the week my son was born, it went up 25x. I was like, oh yeah. So that was it. I sold. I lived off of it for 2 years.
Yeah. There's that old adage when the baby's born, it had, like, I forget what it's called. It's like when you have a baby, it's like it comes with a loaf of bread. There's like an old like thing sort of thing. Like when you have a baby, you find ways to hustle to make more money, you know?
Hey, it did it. Thank God, man. I really appreciate that.
Yeah. Fuck it. Have kids.
Yeah. One and done. I think 3 cents. So
yeah,
I think
I totally see that. Yeah.
Yeah, I think I'm in agreement with that. Actually, 2 to 3. I'm trying to think conservative just because I like surprises, and I'm just gonna.
Fuck that.
Yeah, come on.
Predictions always feel ridiculous, but I mean, if we're all pulling numbers out of our ass, 10 cents, why not?
Shoo!
All right, coffee.
All right. I'm with coffee on this one. Fuck yeah.
That'll pay for some time in Prague. I'll be happy with that.
Yeah.
Since you're going to be thankful that you're staked, or you're going to be hateful that you're staked. I really don't know which emotion I'll be feeling the most.
Any thoughts from Jim on that one?
Yeah, I mean, I don't really care what the HEX price does. I'm just going to, because I'm already in a bunch of altcoins already, and I'm in a bunch of other coins already that I've already made a lot of money on already, and I'm just going to stake for long with HEX, whatever happens, And if it goes to shit, it goes to shit. But I don't think so. I think it's gonna do really well. And yeah. You want to play like sort of like what Crypto Coffee was saying earlier in the stream was like you want to play like a whale, not a noob, where you're always just trying to get the short from cash, Because like if it's like any token, you're in early on and you play it long term,
All right. Well, I have one more short little section here. I just put it in for fun for those who are sticking around. Call it think of it as like a lightning round, but I guess since we're space forcing, we'll call it warp speed. And we'll just go around the circle. So we'll start with coffee and go clockwise. But what's the first crypto you ever owned?
Oh, well, it'd have to be Bitcoin, but it was Bitcoin in order to buy a bunch of shit coins on Poloniex. But that was my gateway drug.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Randy?
It was Bitcoin, but I used it to buy Darkcoin. And what was the one for Iceland? What was that coin? Jeez, I can't remember. It was a coin that they were doing an airdrop to Iceland, and I think I bought it at the top, and I got crushed. And I bought a bunch of Darkcoin, and I didn't know back then. I was a total noob. I didn't know what I was doing. And Dash came out with their wallet because that was in the future Dash. And I tried to send my Darkcoin directly to the Dash wallet, and they're still in limbo to this day. So when Dash went to $1,300, I was self-flagellating. Man, I was like, beating myself silly.
Funny Jim.
Pretty sure it was Litecoin. As much as I bag on it now, I'm pretty sure Litecoin is my first thing I bought, and it was so that I could put it into other alts, other exchanges faster than Bitcoin. So I think it was around probably February of 17, somewhere in there, and I was just getting introduced to crypto. I bought a bunch of crap, a bunch of shit that is worth nothing now.
We all did.
What did you ask, Cabana?
The first crypto you ever owned.
Oh, that was Litecoin. Yeah.
Yeah.
For me.
Well, what's funny is we have 3 Litecoins and 2 Bitcoins because Litecoin was mine too. So.
Wow.
Let you know, bro. That should let you know. I mean, Grayscale is buying the fuck out of it. I mean, it's 3x its bag lately. So
well, I don't own it anymore. That was years ago.
Yeah. I don't know. I own a lot of Litecoin still. Yeah. And I'm really happy lately what's been going on with the price. So
how do you resist when you're holding something else? How do you make that mental decision? Because it's hard.
It's a percentage of the bag. So so what I gamble with is like maybe 20% of my total portfolio into something that could just make me much more like even on HEX. I know now that we hit the all-time highs, I'm up 38, 42x on my money. So it's equaled up so much more than my thing. It's so easy to hold my Litecoin. I don't have to dump it at all, like because I own some HEX now.
How do you follow your own rules?
It's just discipline. It's hard, dude. It really is. But like sometimes I gamble with an extra 10%. But it's what I do from there is that once I gain a certain amount of X's, 5, 10x on my money, I distribute 20% of that money back into the original coin, and then which gets me back in proportion to what I when I invested in. So, I mean, that's kind of what I do is I take the coin I invest with into other coins to get more of that coin, and then let's just say the main coin doesn't work out. I have so many of other coins already that it doesn't matter. That's a position you want to get into. Is that you're in so many projects that they've appreciated so much it doesn't even matter about the main. It's sort of like you're so much the USD that you have so much Facebook and Uber and whatever other else of the stocks you're into so early that it doesn't even matter about the USD that you have in your bank because you have so much more in equity. It's the same sort of rule.
Yeah, I am. I have something that follows that. A very wise man, very wealthy man, sat down with me. I think it was 2016 when he came down, and he told me this is what he does with his crypto. This is pre-HEX, guys, so don't judge me. He buys the coins and he holds the coins until they double. When they double, he takes out 20% and buys something else. Now, in his opinion, you buy silver and gold, you send it to Singapore, put it in a storage facility, then you borrow against that silver and gold to go buy more crypto. And he keeps cycling that. So he never runs out of his original investment of his 20%. He keeps taking 20% out, 20% out, 20%. So he never runs out. But then he has that silver and gold, leverages that, takes cash, and goes and buys more crypto. So just keeps cycling it like that.
What you're talking about is more of a safer compound bet because compound is doing some retarded version of that. Where you keep, but that's sort of what I'm basically doing. But where with crypto, it's the multiples are so insane that 20% ends up almost equaling up your actual bag, your original bag. So if you choose the wrong bet, you have these other coins that end up actually making that back, and then so it's sort of almost like your angel investment.
Well, see, the thing is, for me, I don't really like taking collateral to take the cash from collateral or loan against collateral to speculate with that, to make more X on that money. I don't like that. I personally like starting a business, buying something that's a rental and has cash flow, buying something that has a way to pay off collateral and release the collateral. And then once the collateral is released, then I can do that again. So I'll put my energy and time and stress basically into getting something in a cash flow position and then say, okay, now the collaterals are released. Give me a break of 6 months, and then I'll come back to do another project. I don't like that.
That's closer to my later end strategy because I think like the stock market and the crypto market are pretty correlated for this round at least, or for at least this cycle. And once we get a really big run up in the stock market and crypto, you'll be able to almost cash out, have cash, be able to get into real estate, then take that real estate income with. I don't know. This depending on everyone's situation, but me, I like owning properties outright. I know that's probably not the smartest thing, but I like being a sort of a granite floor, at least for me and my family, and using that income to then buy more assets that pay me more income, right? And I'll buy into HEX and I'll buy into some of these other assets that just keep producing more income, because during that downturn in the market, you're buying assets at 90% off, 90% discount, and then you buy into assets that already pay you interest. So typically when you buy assets that are 95% down, let's just say an asset's $8 and it starts popping up. So sort of like when Litecoin hit $22 and then it stayed around $33 to $40. It's sort of the same sort of thing where you buy an asset at $22 and then it doubles up on you. And that interest that you end up buying, it equals up to so much more money that you can survive on that. It's sort of like 20xing your bag on the downturn, if that makes sense. And that interest being worth so much that you're making more money on the downturn than you're actually making in the bull market.
Okay, I got to do that.
No, but that's why I've been hypothesizing a little bit about why downturns are lasting longer, is because you have a larger segment of the population, 20% of the population that ends up playing the market correctly and 80% that doesn't. But because that 20% becomes such a larger amount, it makes the market longer. There's something that Plan B has been talking about, that the cycles have been getting longer.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that's what's going on, is there's more and more people catching on, doing correct movement. And instead of making it a 4-year cycle, it could become 5. And then the next cycle, it's 6. Because there's more and more people being supported by the system. So there's more people that are selling the bottoms because they're making so much off the interest that compound, I mean, not compound, but DeFi is created. That could be the elongating of the cycle. But I don't know.
Yeah, I've seen that said that this cycle's going to be extended. And every cycle after this can be extended more. So our downtime, instead of a year and a half, it'll be 2 years. Then the next one, 2.5, or something like that during the down periods.
Well, also the access to capital. I mean, again, right now we're about to have a wave of messed up credit scores, people losing their rents, losing their, maybe losing their property, but they don't ever get forced out of it. So even though there's inventory on banks that say that they would foreclose over the next 12 to 18 months, that doesn't mean people leave the house and they look for it. They just aren't paying the bill. But up until fairly recently, even during the crypto bull run of 17, the people that got wrecked, even if they got wrecked, if they had something else, like they had a house or something else, the value of that went up. And it went up because the interest rate to buy that house went down. So interest rates being very low are why prices on real estate can stay stable or go up and go up. So that actually gives more liberation of access to money that can be thrown into a speculation like crypto.
I mean, I've been having the speculation that we're pretty much having a repeat of the 1920s in the 2020s. We are going to have a roaring 20s for asset holders, not for the general person in the United States or the world. It's the asset holders because of inflation. So if you have assets, you are going to get the lion's share of the inflation rate added to your balance. So real estate holders, Bitcoin holders, HEX holders, anybody that's in any hard asset is going to pretty much get the benefit of the US dollar inflating, which is pretty much absorbing all the soft money around the world. Because like any time that there's a crash in the in medium to small countries currencies, those currencies are going to fail this round. The next round, you're going to start getting major currencies, and eventually maybe the third round maybe somewhere in the 1930s, you get maybe even the dollar crashing, which I personally think is probably going to cause the next real war, because the war is really it's sort of like a jubilee where like you win a war, you lose a war, it kind of clears out all the debt across the world. But I mean, we're talking about in the 30s, not in the 20s. But maybe I'm thinking a little too much in the future. But that's kind of like what I'm thinking is going on, is that we're sort of we're skipping World War I, but we're probably not going to skip World War II, if that makes sense.
That's why I bought stock in Cyberdyne. They got this T1000 coming out. It's pretty cool.
God damn, bro.
Incredible.
All right. Well, so much for the warp round. I had 9 more of these to go. Let's.
I love that, Jim, dude. That was so funny.
It's true. It's all going to be cyber warfare.
Yeah, more than likely.
What's shortest hex stake? I'll start. My shortest is less than 2 years.
Shortest before or shortest ever or
The shortest one I'm holding.
Oh, still holding.
Yeah, I've got that one coming out just either 10 days, 15 days before the end of a big payday. It's just totally speculative. The rest I don't are just staked, but that one I'm like, let's see what this mofo does.
Yeah, my shortest is 1 day after a big payday. That's my absolute shortest. You heard this here first from Hex Jesus.
Got it, Jim. Funding Jim.
Do you stay with that? I mean, that's the earliest you could early end stake. Or you're just gonna let it rot out.
I'm just gonna let that's the earliest I have that end stake.
Expires.
I can already emergency unstake it if I want to. I have so many stakes I could emergency unstake. I've only emergency unstaked 2 stakes, which then I took from. I instead of doing 1 to 2, I did 3 to 15 year stakes on those stakes just to increase my shares.
Well, my soonest end stake is day after big payday. That's why I'm waiting to basically end it. It's like I should change my share rate.
Yeah.
John Wallace, man, I feel you. All right. Longest stake, easy 555.
555, yeah.
Cool. Well, Moses, you just answered this next one. Confession time. Have you emergency end stake before? I have not. You have. How about Randy?
I did. I tested it. I wanted to see what happened, and that was probably in week 2, week 3. I want to see what I did at 1,000. I staked. It's back when ETH fees were nothing, right?
Yep.
And I staked it for like 15 days, and then I unstaked early to see what happened.
Yeah, there's been something about end staking and long staking that I've been afraid to tell people. Like I don't even want to say it on stream because it's bad. It can make people FUD out. Not FUD out, but sort of like take profits, and I don't want to tell people it. But I found out calculations of where you could unstake, and because you still in stake on later stakes, you'll get all your principal back. But I mean, figure it out yourself. I ain't telling you guys.
If you're a ladder and you have a certain percentage that you end stake, you're still paid out.
Yeah, if you're evenly laddered out, some of the later stakes will get you back all your principal.
Right.
It doesn't matter. It almost doesn't matter for the first fucking 3 years.
Yeah, and that depends. Yeah, how many ladder steps you have, or whatever. Too. Yeah.
That's kind of what the guys were saying when I brought up my 600, day 601, whatever it is. Yeah. They said that don't even bother staking it. Just let it ride, and because you'll make up so much anyways.
Right. Exactly. And people are underestimating how much emergency unstake bonuses you'll get. Even though the OA gets half, it is so much. You're talking about people splitting up 35% of the total supply in interest over time. And then 80% of that it basically gets given to the 15-year stakes. That's how much it's giving to the 15-year stakes. I mean, I really do believe there's 100 people on this planet that will actually end stake the actual first year of the 15-year stakes. I mean, it's going to be a news event. 100 people. Yeah, that's how much I truly believe, because I feel like people are like, oh, there's going to be 500 stakes that are going to come undone. People believe in individual wallets, and then most of them are just going to bleed out. Yeah,
man. If Hex is $2, I have no problem unstaking. So.
Right, exactly. It's like so much at play there. Yeah.
But it is. That's why I believe a little bit of more frequent stakes, because it does give you the option of emergency unstaking without nuking your entire stack. So let's just say you have 1 stake a year and you have 365 stakes. I know that's a lot, but just as an example, you can unstake 1% of your stakes and still have 99% of your stakes that you can unstake. You know what I mean? Or something can happen in your life. Like, I like giving yourself mobility and giving yourself like options. Like, you know what? I'm going to emergency unstake a quarter of my stakes just because, I need the money right now, and that's a smart move. But then you're still you're still getting the bonuses of 75% of your HEX and staking it. And that is so much money that like you end up controlling. I mean, you could see those 100 people controlling 25% of the total supply of HEX. That's how much they control. Leave it to humans.
All right, where are we at? Any cryptos, like just one name looking back in time that you kind of are embarrassed to say you owned it at one point?
Dragon Chain.
What was it?
Dragon. I had too much Dragon Chain.
Dragon Chain.
It was a
thing. Oh, Disney, the Disney coin.
If you guys want to learn about Dragon Chain, look at Crypto Crow. He had an interview with the actual CEO or whatever, the main guy of Dragon Chain. It really was a Disney coin. It actually was.
Wow.
But it actually was mostly employees from the park side that made it. But I made a lot of money on that token during the bear market because all I bought was about $60 of it, and I ended up selling like $900 like a couple months ago, which I sold into HEX.
Cool.
Yeah, but it's just that's the main thing of buying when all the FUD is there, when nobody believes in it. Same thing with Cardano. I bought a shit ton of it at 3 cents. That's just what it is.
Me too.
Yeah,
I bought a bunch at 3 or 4 cents and sold at 20.
Yeah.
My embarrassment is XRP, but I bought it when it was. I'm an anarcho-capitalist, so it's fucking embarrassing for me to talk about XRP. But I owned it. It was one of the first coins I ever bought, and it was a fraction of a penny. I sold it once it got to about 0.8 of a penny or something. So I made a nice profit. Never looked back. Never owned it again. But yes, I did own it, and I had about 1.2 million of them.
Wow.
Because back then that was nothing, right? That was that was nothing. And if I would have held it through the bull market, I probably wouldn't be here right now. I'd probably be out on a sailboat or something.
Yeah. XRP is probably one of mine.
Yeah. I'm not trying to show Litecoin, but Litecoin is probably going to be $1,000, probably peak a bull run, maybe more.
Oh boy, here we go. Yeah. Well, that takes us into the next one. Your favorite crypto right now that's not named HEX. Is that it?
It's between Litecoin and Cell token.
Oh yeah, you're big on Celsius.
I've made probably 10 times of my money on that. I was buying it sub 10 cents, and I've made it's at 42 cents right now, I think, currently. So it's done very well. And it's paying me a dividend as well. So I'm making more on the dividend that I actually paid for in capital.
Wow.
Yeah.
So I was supposed to start getting paid. If I could start doing the marketing for some of their stuff, then I'm trying to work my way in. They said they'll pay me in Celsius. So.
Yeah, I can help you out with that. So I actually interviewed. So it's one of the reasons why I actually podcasted is I've interviewed the main marketing guy for Celsius, as well as the main product designer and the community manager of Celsius. And I'm gonna have pretty soon a referral link if I want to. That'll pretty much any person that signs up to Celsius, I'll make like $50 in BTC or whatever currency I want. So it's a
cool.
really, we're right now currently any normal person can get $20. I can get $50 to $100 per person. So it's a pretty good referral link. Awesome. I mean, I know you'll kill it with that one.
Yeah, I'm a referral guy. My coin is, I don't know if you guys know, I don't know, you guys haven't followed me for a long time, but I was part of the Epic Cash team, which is a Mimblewimble coin with only 21 million coins. Try algo mining. It's got CPU, all that. It's a wonderful Mimblewimble coin, and I got in. I bought a shit ton when it was a penny. Right now it's 20 cents. I really think that this is what I was talking earlier about, taking the 20% and buying something. That's what I'm doing with this coin. So, but I have my first sells. I'm going to sell probably like $1 or something, because I think it's going $25-$30. And, I'm a true believer, and I own a nice percentage of the original coins because these Chinese miners were just mining, dumping. I'm sitting here, hey, catching them all. I'm like, I got these low buy orders, and they're selling 10, 20, 30,000 a day. and I'm just grabbing them. And one of my investor friends, one of the founders of Fidelity, he sent me a whole ton of money and says, keep buying it for me too. So I got a shit ton for him. And it's just, I like Mimblewimble coins. I'm a privacy guy. I don't own Monero. I actually like Mimblewimble better. And I might take some flack for that, but I don't care. I don't need 100% anonymity on my coins. Mimblewimble is privacy. People can't see my wallet entries. They can't see how much money I have.
That's enough.
That's enough for me. All right.
Yeah.
That's
Shout
cool.
out to Litecoin. Mimblewimble coming in November.
Are they finally doing it? All right, great.
Yeah, the testnet's coming out in I think before September. And so you're talking about Q1 Mimblewimble Litecoin, and then you have ZK rollups for Litecoin next year. That's the big. So I only know that because I went to both the first ever summit for Litecoin in 2018 and 19. And they were talking about that. So like you're going to have 400 times faster transactions on Bitcoin than on Litecoin, that's enough for this bull market. In the next bull market, it's so much more, dude. It's
guys, watch those Mimblewimble coins. They're people like to talk shit about them, but I like them. I know. I don't know. I like my privacy.
I heard the whole spiel with Lightning Network. I mean the Lightning Network. You know, with I forgot the name of the woman that's behind it. The main CEO of Lightning Network, but she gave me really bad vibes. So I don't think. It sounded like bullshit to me.
It's probably something to do with the CIA.
Yeah, I don't know, but I'm trusting my stomach on this one. It gave me really bad vibes. I felt like it was bullshit, and like. I really do think that Bitcoin, if it's going to copy anything, it's probably going to copy Litecoin because it does a couple $1 billion in transactions a month. And if Mimblewimble works, they're probably what's going to end up happening is that Ethereum is going to put so much fucking fire on their ass that they're going to be like, oh shit, we need to upgrade something because we're losing ground. And they're going to be like, oh look, Litecoin, Mimblewimble, yeah, we're going to copy this. And that's what's going to happen.
Makes sense to me.
Yeah.
All right, Funny Jim, what's your coin?
It's not HEX.
Yeah.
Just what leftover dust is in my old shitty Chrome.
Not even Ethereum?
Mastercoin?
I have Ethereum because I need it to end stakes and stuff or
do things.
Maybe I have like 5 or 6 Ethereum across different wallets, but not because it's going to make me money, just because it's gas.
I thought about that. That's a nice 10. Just to have 10, just keep them in the different wallets just for when you need it. Because Good Texture scared the shit out of me when he said, in a couple of years, when Ethereum's 20 grand, you're going to want to have a couple.
Yeah. Two Ethereum will last you, I think, 2 cycles. Have 2 Ethereum in your wallet, and I think you'll be okay with gas fees. Short term. That's maybe like 4 years. That'll last you 4 years of gas fees.
How many people are going to lose their HEX stacks because they're not going to be able to afford to unstake them?
That's
20%.
Isn't that what this Firebund's talking about, or Rich is talking about? That you can do a transaction just by sending HEX. You don't even have to know Ethereum exists.
Well, that'd be cool.
Yeah, so I think that's operational. I thought it was operational now, but maybe that's a big reveal. But yeah.
Okay, so maybe we won't need all the Ethereum that I'm thinking.
You'll basically, if you have enough gains in HEX, then you're basically paying for your gas by paying with HEX instead of converting or buying Ethereum with HEX. Yeah.
Oh hell yeah, that's great.
Yeah.
See, I learned something awesome.
Vitalik just did a recent interview with what's her name? What's her name? I think it's off the blockchain. No, it's not off the blockchain, but I think it's off the blockchain. It's with this female. I forgot her. I'll link it on my Twitter and Discord. I'll post it in Discord. He just recently did, like a couple days ago, an interview where he's talking about that it's possible that they're going to do a burn rate on Ethereum eventually. Really? So they're going to be playing around with a lot of the economics of Ethereum. So you could get an initial burn rate probably, and then eventually. So they're going to be playing around with it. They're going to play the role of an essential bank, where like at one cycle they're going to do an inflation rate, and the next one is going to be deflationary to try to come back. So but I don't know. I mean, I just be careful of the phase 0 contract. If you're not comfortable with sending 32 Ethereum to a contract and not getting your coins out for 2 years, do not send your fucking Ethereum to the contract, because you will get stuck and you're going to get really sad, because there is a lot of people right now with the current price that are probably sending $11,000 of Ethereum to the contract and will not be able to get out their Ethereum and interest until the price is so high. And the minute Ethereum 2.0 comes out, they're going to dump that price. People are going to take all their Ethereum out of that contract and then dump it on the market because they're up so much on their Ethereum, which I think is probably like Ethereum 2.0.
The fees are going to go down, you believe?
The fees are probably going to go down. Short term, probably because Tether is going to get off of Ethereum into OMG. That's almost promised. Like OMG and a bunch of major banks in Tokyo invested into the parent company of OMG Network, which is the Bank of Mitsubishi and the Bank of Toyota.
Is that Amiso?
Amisogo, yeah.
Amisogo.
So it looks like Amisogo may have figured it out, the scaling. So if you know anything about Japanese companies, they don't invest into anything unless it's a sure thing.
The other one I heard about talking that they could do stuff like that is GoChain. I saw Muchuru talking about that yesterday. I don't know if you guys follow Muchuru. He's got some pretty good knowledge drops out there. He did discuss the possibility that GoChain might be where a lot of the Ethereum transactions go through.
Yeah. I mean, right now we're working with a company in Japan because I'm actually trying to come out with an exchange, but it's tough. It takes it's a lot of money to come out with an exchange, especially the kind of exchange I actually personally want to come out with, where it's sort of like a Uniswap, but it's every token. You don't have to.
You need wrapped coins. I don't know if you guys know Halo platform. My partner with my project, his name is Scott Morrison of Halo, and they wrap all their coins. So almost anything can go into the Halo platform DEX. Just have to wrap it. But they're actually moving to Ethereum. So they have to rework. He said it could take 6 to 8 months for that capability to be ready, and they'll be able to wrap any token again or any coin.
Yeah.
You see Uniswap's doing it. I just saw that Epic Cash, for example, they got wrapped and they're on Uniswap. And that just came out like 2 weeks ago. I was like, holy shit, this is a proof of work coin. This has nothing to do with Ethereum. And how is it on Uniswap? They figured it out.
Yeah. I mean, look out for I've heard rumblings about V3 Uniswap having a native token. So like Uniswap was supposed to be
I've actually heard that too.
Yeah, it's pretty prevalent. Like Uniswap was supposed to be a sort of a nonprofit, but he never expected for it to be such a success. Like right now, it's 50% of 54% of all DEX volume on the planet right now.
So they passed IDEX by a bunch, I guess.
A lot, and Kyber token. Kyber token is worth a shit ton, and it's got a lot of money behind it, and it's beating Kyber token by like 5x in volume. Yeah. So Uniswap. I mean, and I truly believe the reason for that is half of that success is because of HEX, because a lot of hexers started using Uniswap. So that I think it's just sort of because so many people are using Uniswap that it ranked better in Google search terms. So more people started using it. I mean, that's what I personally believe. But I mean, I know I've been using Uniswap for a lot of tokens because
I think
how easy.
Another one, they're gonna be like BZ. They're gonna come up with the apology short after BPD as well.
Yeah, I mean, I've been right now. If you want to be a Cell token holder, which is Celsius, now in order for the United States holder to buy Cell token, you have to be on Uniswap. But right now, there's sort of an intelligence test. There's a lot of tokens right now that U.S. holders cannot buy because they don't know about DEXs. But if you know about DEXs, which is IDEX, Simeon token DEX, Kyber network token, if you know how to use these exchanges, you are so far ahead of the average user, because by the time it gets on Coinbase or KuCoin or Binance, you've already missed out on most of the gains. So if you're able to get on tokens early enough, you're able to ride those token waves.
Absolutely.
I might be getting a little off subject. Sorry, I'm a little.
That's all right.
I'm probably like 10 drinks in.
This is the snail round. Come on,
Nice.
this is the snail round. Let's do
Snail
this.
round. All right, just a couple more prices. Bitcoin 5 years. I'll go 5 years. I'll go like 150.
Yeah.
150K.
Yeah.
5 years. So I think we got another 18 months to this. 18 months to 2 years for this cycle, which I think will put us at about 100, 120 to 220. And so that'll be during at the end of a bear market. So I'm going to guess 80.
Jim.
I've seen too much of Hex's difference from, and it's not just because I'm pro Hex, but I have lost faith in Bitcoin having that kind of multiple, that kind of even at 150K, the trillions that it would have to represent is huge. I think we're going to have like hyperinflation. I think real world inflation will happen. So I would say inflation plus 20%. It's not 100,000. It's not 150,000. It depends on what inflation is. And some countries they'll hit inflation sooner than the U.S. Some people will be later. We just are the cleanest shirt in the fiat game at the moment.
Yeah.
So I'd say inflation plus 20% to inflation of today's Bitcoin price.
Litecoin?
Exceptional.
5 years?
Yeah, just for fun. There's a lot of play, as Randy said. I mean, you're talking cycles plus macro, so
it depends a lot on the all-time high of this cycle. But you could probably see if let's just say the most bearish Bitcoin price is probably $56,000 per Bitcoin, and that would mean 90% dump down. So you're talking about maybe like maybe $10,000 per Bitcoin, and then stabling off around 25,000. But I honestly think we're going to go like $250,000 to about $100,000 per Bitcoin on this run. So you're probably talking about maybe a $15,000. We're never going to go below $15,000 on Bitcoin. So you're probably talking about maybe 25, 30,000 all-time low, and then you're probably stabling off 80K probably. But 5 years is a long time, man. And that's and right now, especially with all the legislation in the United States with banks being allowed to hold cryptocurrencies as assets. Like I recently opened a business account for one of my businesses in a local bank, and they asked me about, are you a business that transacts in cryptocurrencies? And last year they never asked me that. I started 2 businesses and they never asked me that. And this year they started asking me about cryptocurrencies, and that was really shocking when I heard that.
Hopefully you lied.
I'm sorry?
Hopefully you lied. never admit it, man. Never admit it.
No, I like my. I don't know. I actually onboarded her onto HEX. She's my banker at a local bank. She bought HEX, so I got her into Bitcoin, HEX, and then like Ethereum and stuff, and Litecoin. So she's in some of the cryptos I like. But she was like, I told her what was the CD, because she works at a bank, so she sells CDs. So she's like, oh, I know what that is. So I told her, like, yeah, throw some money at that. And I saw her stake her HEX. She's in HEX.
All right. How about Ethereum? I think it can outperform Bitcoin on a percentage basis, but I can't do the math in my head right now. 10x,
5 years?
Yep, 5 years. I'm doing the math. Go ahead if you got one.
I'm going to say 5 years, 22,000.
Wow.
Woo! Wow, man.
I think Ethereum's going to be strong, guys. I do not.
I'm very bullish on it. I was going to go maybe like 15, but yeah, I share your bullishness.
Yeah.
Multiples because does that mean per transaction stays the same price, or what's the transaction cost?
It'll be expensive.
Is that comparable, or is that the speed and the work increases, and you're counting on the technology of Ethereum changing?
I think they're going to change. They're going to have to. Something's going to have to change.
it's going to have a parabolic run this run. Next cycle, I think it gets dumb piped. I think Cardano passes it next cycle.
I'm going to tell you guys something that I don't think it's been talked about that much, but one of the projects I worked with going back in 2017, I did their marketing for them during their IPO. They launched on Ethereum, then they changed to VeChain later. But when they were Ethereum, they figured out a way how to wrap all their transactions into one transaction instead of having to, paying thousands of transaction fees. They would just wrap it all up and send it. And that way they saved their users at the time, 50, 60, 70 bucks, an hour in transaction fees. Whereas when they put it all together, it was just one time, and it saved them a ton of money. And they never ended up using it, but it was built for them. They ended up going to VeChain because their transaction fees are much lower. But I think things like that are going to be built. There's very smart people that know how to do these. And if that was built back in 2017, I can't imagine what Vitalik and his minions are building now.
Yeah, I might be thinking about it wrong, but if going to one website costs you $5 to visit and look at pictures, and going to a different website costs you $1, you're going to go to the dollar site. I mean, it has to be magnitudes of better content for me to use that network. So it's the same thing. I mean, that's kind of the competition between whether it's Tron or whoever it is that tries to be a Ethereum killer, quote unquote, is you have to have magnitudes of order better performance, better content, better use for you to pay the premium, right? A lot of people liked Apple when they were competing with Microsoft Windows 98. They liked it. There's only schools that had bottomless budgets and graphic artists that utilized it. And when they became more acceptable because of price point, and more of a desktop publishing world joined the Apple fanboys, whatever,
Jim, I've got a perfect example of what you're saying right here. I play that game. It's a new game, came out 3 months ago. It's a crypto game called Chains Arena, where you get to fight, with your monsters, and you got your fire team, your water team, earth, and I love that shit. That's I'm gonna have that kind of stuff in my live stream when I get going. And you get to choose your team when you first start. You can choose Team Ethereum, Team EOS, or Team Tron, and whatever team you choose, that's the wallet you choose to engage with the game. And I chose Tron because of the fees were the lowest.
Yeah.
That's exactly what you just said, right?
Yeah, exactly. So I mean, you think about the internet that you use, the search engine you use, the website you shop on. If they charged you per content, per network transaction for you to receive data, I mean, it's kind of the same thing. So I would love Ethereum to hit 22,000. That'd be amazing. But it better fucking perform. It better not be $20 for me to do anything on it every time I need to do something on it. So it needs to solve either the transaction speed, which is not really a speed issue. You can pay a premium to speed up. If you can pay a premium to speed up, it's not a speed transaction issue. Maybe it's reprioritizing you because you're paying a higher fee. But
if more projects do what you said HEX is doing, then that fixes a lot of those problems.
Yeah, I mean, again, if ZK Sync is using the Ethereum network, right? You're saying it's a version of Lightning on the Ethereum network. Is that what that is, really? My understanding.
I think that's what Litecoin was talking about.
Yeah, if you're loading a wallet and then the wallet that you've loaded can transact faster, speedier, can interact with a video game, it can do things that a world computer should be able to do. It shouldn't take long. It shouldn't be expensive. I'm not going to play Fortnite and blow $1,000 a game.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I'm ready to eat.
What's for dinner?
All right, 2 more. HEX price in 5 years. Anybody want to tackle it?
5 years.
Oh my God.
No, because there's so much at play. But I prefer to think of it as like if I'm doing any kind of prediction on that, I'm trying to gauge like market cap. So if there's 600-700 billion, and it actually becomes a blockchain CD, like legit, and is thought of that, not just this mystery crypto that, you know, you see billboards and things like that. You know, then I think we could get like $1, but maybe that's even bearish, because I know I've seen some outrageous targets, but I think it's in the realm of possibility. Anything out there?
Well, I would say that's once again, 5 years is the end of probably going to be the end of a bear market. So maybe we'll be 15 cents at that time. Who knows? I'm going to go with 15.
I'll guess. I've seen the numbers, and some people say 33 cents, and I've seen, you know, Adrian, the guy, talk about crazy numbers, big, huge numbers. It's really a CD, and it becomes CD. It's a financial product versus a crypto, then the sky's the limit. Because people just want return on capital as a priority. They want to know that their money is locked up, that it's coming back. And the return on capital is the sauce, it's the attractive part. That's what people are looking at now. They're even putting money into U.S. Treasuries and things like that, knowing for a fact that they're going to lose. They know they're going to lose. They're guaranteed to lose interest and lose purchasing power, but at least it's safe, right? So if you have something that is immutable and code is the rule, really the end, who knows what money will be in 5 years.
Yeah, look at the people pouring into DeFi right now for those returns. And how much different is HEX? It's not really.
Right. So it's hard to speculate on a coin price because the share rate, I know we all know much about what the share rate is, but the perception will be, if I put money in, I'm going to get it back plus, you know? So I can see it going higher than that. I could go see it, you know, anything beyond $5 becomes ridiculous to me, but it's possible because I don't know what it's worth in 5 years. I don't know what this means in 5 years. You know, I don't know what president's going to be in office. I don't know what war is going to happen or not in 5 years, right? So it's completely unguessable in my opinion.
Yeah, totally unguessable, but for fun, that's why I threw it out there. Just some guesses on Dlive, $1.50, $3 are the most bullish I'm seeing.
Yeah, I mean, in December of 19, you guess that the world would be locked up for 4 months and you're not going anywhere and everyone's wearing a mask? It's hard to guess.
No.
Realistically.
No, because I would have gotten on a plane and went to Europe a long time ago.
No, you're in Panama.
Yeah.
Moses, anything on that one?
Maybe like enchiladas.
Maybe like 80 cent plus, probably. Around there.
Wow. Guys. I sure hope you're right.
I mean, this is based off of like surviving all the time.
Interest, and like you said, man, just take 50% of your interest. And just restake it.
It's a lot.
Oh,
but I really do treat like it's sort of like the sort of thing like you overestimate what you can do in a year, but you underestimate what you can do in 10 years.
Yeah,
that's kind of what I'm thinking. But who knows, man? I got to get going. You guys have a good night. Right. Okay.
Yep. Same here.
Right. Cheers, bro.
Wow. Good work, boys. I had one more. Right. That'll close us out. And this is like the really fun one. But, well, because I guess it can seem to be realistic next year if things go right. HEX hits a dime. What's the first thing you purchase?
I already talked about mine. I'm moving to Europe.
Purchase a Prague.
I'm not going to buy a house, but it'll pay for my rent for 2 years. And they base their visas on how long you rent your house. And so if I do a 2-year lease, I can get a 2-year visa. So that's what we're planning on doing.
Still real estate based. I mean, anything that comes out goes into something that can still, if I decide to live there, I live there. But if I don't, I can rent it behind me. I'm still very practical. 5 years from now, I'll be 55. So my concerns are different than others too. So
yeah, it's all dependent upon age and time and a whole host of factors. Like for me, I would pay off the house and pretty much go into semi-retirement. So.
See, I've already been there. I already had a house that I had paid off. And,
yeah.
You know, I sold it. It was, you know, I'm from Rochester, New York. You know, they're not worth anything up there. But I sold my house. I had bought off of a foreclosure, and I never want to own property again. I was really burned. I gave my house to somebody who I thought I trusted when I left the States. And I said, look, I'll give you a huge discount on rent. Just take care of my house. And they fucking trashed it. It was gorgeous. I had totally remodeled the whole thing. And, you know, so we had to go put another couple grand into it before I could even put it on the market. So I just don't want to own property anymore. I'm burned with it, you know.
Well, you know, there's opportunities in Puerto Rico, and you can have somebody else run the whole thing. There's a micro hotel that's called Plaza Colon. My friend Rich Holman, actually, he lived in Panama for a while. He's pretty big in Colombia now. But yeah, there's a lot of tax reasons that you can depreciate it. You don't have to directly own it. You can be part of a consortium. You can be part of a co-op.
Yeah.
And,
that's big now too.
Yeah, and you can always, it's not timeshare, but basically you can always sell your interest in a tick or something along those lines.
Yeah, I thought about doing the farms too. The farms are really big here in Panama, where you put money into the like a group of people put together. They open a huge farm, you know, fruits, veggies, whatever.
Yeah.
You know.
Either that or guns are gold. Guns are gold for the, you know, for the Terminators. You know, they're
better get some C4 for those T1000s. All right. Are we done?
Yeah,
we are done. Yeah, I was just opening up the chest, and I think I did it wrong for the Dlive. So sorry, folks. I have it. I will distribute it to you. I'm a newbie there. But yeah, so cool to have you guys on, and, you know, I'm sure rest of the guys will just tune in and catch the rest of it at some point.
Yeah, the next couple of weeks, I'm going to start doing live streams as well and have guests on. And I think this is the best way for us to gain adoption. Obviously, I've been talking a lot about HEX because it's the second largest bag. So I love it, right?
Yeah, I mean, we're heading into, like I said, a one-time crypto event. I mean, I don't want to talk about it too much because I hate being too close to the situation if, you know, you're invested in something. But if I were on the outside looking in and I did the maths and really thought about what this is and can't really find a fly on it reasonably. I mean, if you're a conspiracy theorist, you can come up with all sorts of garbage. But man, it's like the more you think about it, the next few months are going to be really exciting. So yeah.
I stake my reputation on this shit. So it's going to pan out. It doesn't have a choice. It's going to pan out. I lost a lot of friends over HEX already, guys, in the crypto world. I thought they were friends, at least, right?
If you put content out there, if you create content, you don't have to be like long streams or something like that. But if you do create long streams like we've done, people have had different opinions. What's great is anybody that doesn't want to create their own content, but they want to chip into this community, this kind of marketing, sharing the information. I've seen a lot of channels pop up where they're just snipping 2 minutes, a minute and a half, some little nugget of one of these kinds of streams, answering one particular question, doing a round room. And those little bite-sized nuggets make a whole channel. So I've seen like clips, different HEX-related clips.
Yeah, the HEX clips, Twitter or whatever that is great because it just gives you like little snippets of what you need. It fits the shortest attention span.
The shortest attention span is perfect for linking into a Twitter. It's perfect for linking well after it's been published. You know, it might be a month later, and you say, "Oh yeah, they're talking about this." You go back, and if that person or whoever makes HEX clips, if they put into the description box and they make the description not just generic, but they say what it's about, right?
You know it.
Then you can search for it. And when you search for it, you can respond, you can queue it, you can have it on a tickler or whatever it is, and you're adding to the energy and momentum of HEX specifically. And what's really great about all of this content right now, streaming out to multiple platforms, but it's something that when you're asleep months down the road, your voice is still creating influence. It's still happening because people, like Crypto was talking about, people are looking at stuff that he created 2 years ago about some other random thing because there weren't that many.
That's the source. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
So make content, chop up other people's content. I'm not going to bitch. I don't know, some people might bitch, but I'm not going to bitch about my stuff being reutilized, especially if it's pro HEX. Really, that's the point of it, is sharing the information, not in a hard sell, but saying, hey, this is what I'm doing. This is why I'm doing it. This is my reasoning. This is my logic. You can put it in long form, short form. You can put a blog about it. You can do anything about it, and you're just helping others to understand whether they want to be involved or don't. At least understand context.
Absolutely.
Yeah, man. Well, awesome.
All right, guys.
Thank you guys for going the whole way, man. Going the distance. And
I'm having a little bit of pain here. I'm not used to sitting in a chair.
I'm not in the most comfortable chair either. I kind of figured it'd be a couple hours, but yeah, not almost 4. But awesome.
Oh, God. Okay, guys. Thank you. It was wonderful. I had a great time.
Thank you.
Have a good night.
Definitely.
See you. Thanks.